Should be no. Okay, so check. Looks like we're going right now. I don't know what happened here. Sorry about that. I always think I got this thing going, and then it doesn't quite roll. Should have the volume back now. Okay, we're good. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties always. Even when I got stuff fixed, it's like, geez, things being weird. Well, welcome, guys. All right, so we're through the first inning of play here, and no runs, no hits. Both Mariners and Rangers kind of slow to go here. We're hoping that maybe Logan Gilbert can get back on top of things here. He struggled in recent starts at times, and certainly I think those struggles have come about. I had thought a little bit of, maybe he's wearing down a little bit as the year goes on. But indeed, he looked good in that first inning. It's really with him right now when I'm going to watch him today is about where he's spotting his pitches. He's really gone wrong lately where catcher will set up far into a spot like outside corner, and then you see the four-seam fastball then drift back inside right into the trouble danger zone on those hitters. And you would really like to see him be able to do a little bit more of being able to hit his spots. And he's never, I don't think he doesn't have to be a pinpoint guy, but you can't miss that widely on your pitches at times. The good news being is he's still got the power stuff at this point in the season. It's not like his arm's wearing down or he's not getting the pop on his fastball or the snap of movement on his breaking ball. It's just that he's just kind of struggling to find those spots. And that's where, again, I go to maybe just wore down just a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see in this game if he can turn it on. Certainly had a very fast first inning on both sides. Mariners came out against Perez, and they're definitely, at least the first few batters were being very aggressive with them. Some good strokes put on balls. They were, Julio put a good hard hit. France did too as well. So maybe at least encouraging signs from that. And Eugenio Suarez has drawn a 3-0 count to begin things here. Strike, bottom of the zone, 3-1. Seahawks 12th man, thank you for letting me know on the mic too, man. Sorry about that on that initial. It gets weird sometimes with the mic. Eugenio, 3-1 count. The wind, the delivery, low, ball 4. Nice walk by Eugenio. All right, there we go. That's a nice way to start out the inning here. Daniel W. going hard, back-to-back streaming game days. It's going to be like that through the year now, Daniel. That's where we want to go with this, where I want to do this full time, and it's going to happen by, I can see the pathway happening through definitely expanding on the Seahawks side, but being able to do these Mariner streams too when we get to somewhat of the, we're not in the dead period now with Seahawks stuff, but just want to just a step to get us a little closer to things. You know what I mean? So bit by bit, I'm getting there, and I'm loving doing these. I'm really having fun watching these Mariner team and covering them. So I'll keep it up. If you watch, as I always say, you watch, I'll keep doing it. Carlos Santana up to the plate now, batting from the right-handed side. He takes the first pitch strike at the knees. 0-1. Carlos hitting 200 with 11 home runs and 39 RBIs on the year. Catcher's got to come out and talk to Perez. Something happened with some communication difficulties here early on. Says, I called the pitch. You pitched the pitch. I called the pitch. In the tech world, hey, man, let's make Perez throw just like the last time we faced him. Gilbert needs his command. Gilbert absolutely needs his command today. It's going to be the key for me in watching him. You gotta hit your spots in the right places, and you can't miss by a foot, But we'll see. He looked good in that first inning. And it's tough with Perez because, you do get deep into these counts with him, and he's got that gnarly changeup that he can come back with. Mariners have faced this guy so many times. Strike on the inside portion of the plate. That was a borderline pitch, but it was close. It never seemed like Santana ever gets the borderline pitches. I don't know if he's just got the umpires feel like he's got a big wide zone, but he just never seems to get those ones that are right on the edge. 0-2 now. And this is where Perez comes back with that change. Inside. That's a ball. Seahawks 12th man, thoughts on Julio yesterday striking out like 3 times? Well, I didn't get a chance. I was doing the Seahawks game, and I was running my stream on that, so I didn't get a chance to watch the game yesterday. When you got a 21-year-old kid, I'm kind of surprised we haven't had more of those moments, quite honestly. I think it speaks to how far he's come in his development that we noted at this point as being a real anomaly this deep in August. Swing and a miss on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball there by Santana. No doubt probably sitting on that change, and fastball just got onto him a little bit quick there. That'll be the first out of the inning. So I don't look at it as anything bad. He's come back from the DL. He's had a couple of hits in the opening night on Friday. Looked good there. Looked comfortable. Took some really big hacks. So he didn't look like he was being held back by anything with the injury standpoint. But, I mean, look at a guy like Kelenic at 23 years old and how many 3 strikeout games he's had in simply this year alone, say nothing for his career. So I think it speaks to Julio's development that we noted that at 21, the first time he's kind of had it happen. And that's a little trickler there that is going to be picked up by the third baseman, Mal Crawford, and a horrible throw. Crawford is going to go try to make his way to second base, and he's going to get there. And Julio Suarez is going to try to come all the way home stupidly. I don't know what Julio Suarez was thinking. No chance to get home. Both of the Mariner runners there just sort of kind of jogging a little bit. Very low-key kind of jog. But you're the first out at home. That was a strange play. A weird throw by the third baseman. It should have been just an easy lollipop throw over to him. Suarez, both guys just kind of running. Got to hustle, guys. Like Suarez, doesn't ever at any point really get up till full speed until he's crossed third base. That's a odd call to send him there. I don't know if he was being sent or he just said, I can get this. You don't like to be the second out at home like that when you could have been with a second and third opportunity and Ham Haggerty at the plate. Because when Ham Swaggerty walks up, and you put runners on, those runners are coming home. That's just how it happens. Haggerty hitting .316 on the year with 4 home runs and 13 RBIs. What a spark plug he has been for this lineup. And he gets a change there right at the knee again. Borderline calls. Pitchers getting him here a little bit early. So, yeah, it's the Ox 12th, man. I'm not going to take too much off those strikeouts from Julio. I think it's okay. I don't think you're going to see those on a normal basis. And he's not played a lot of games here since coming back from the All-Star break. So probably needs a little bit of time here to get himself really back to full speed. Up high. And he had even a solid hit on that first at bat in this game. What an odd play there. Yeah, why is Manny Acca... Why is he having him go there? That's such a weird call to have him... He's like, what were you looking at, Brody? Why send him there? A ball's hit on the ground, base hit. This will maybe bring the runner in. He's coming in from third. Here's the throw at the plate. That throw is going to be wide. And once again, Ham Swaggerty comes through big. How about that? There we go. The Ham Man. The Ham Man is back in town. Can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. Ron Duffney, what's up, man? It's good to see you in the chat. Daniel says, perfect hitting. Mariners might be a good team for the next handful of years, so people will be tuning in. I agree, Daniel. I mean, it's definitely me jumping and striking while the iron's hot. I wasn't here grinding through in 16, 17, when they were bad. But I've kind of maintained it's when you're a Mariner fan for all these years, but when you're a Mariner fan for all these years and to ask your fan base to sit through 20 years of brutal baseball is a tough request. And Kirk Casale's up at the plate now. This, of course, was a catching trade deadline acquisition that the Mariners were able to pick up. They did send down Luis Torrens, who, despite having that clutch home run there a couple of days ago, just wasn't able to do quite enough, I think, but both behind the plate and as a hitter, to not make the Mariners feel like they could upgrade that backup catcher position. And certainly you want to try to get Raleigh a little bit of rest here at times as we get down the stretches. He's caught a lot of games, still a very young player. So you want to try to protect him. We don't want to get to the playoffs with all of our bullets expended, right? 2-0 here to Kirk Casale. 18 singles, 3 doubles, and 4 home runs on the year. Inside, ball 3. Haggerty's going, and the swag man gets himself another base. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Yeah, I'm telling you can't stop the swag man. You can't stop the Haggerty. Daniel says, I don't think I've seen that big a turnout for a Seahawks preseason game in a long time. It's exciting times. Win or lose, draw, we will all be tuning in for the development of the young guys. Glad the front office realized that. Me too. That's why I'm encouraged by it. Because you're not sticking back in that same place you'd kind of been in, where you're just sort of stuck in that whirlpool where you're never getting any more forward. 3-0 to Kurt, and he takes 3-0. Like that take, by the way. 234 hitting backup catcher. You're not swinging 3-0. You don't get all these hitters with that. I get the green light too, right? No, you don't get the green light. Only the good hitters get the green light. 3-1 here to Kurt. Mariners already with one on the board here in the second inning, top of the second. Perez gets set, wiggles his front leg to set it in. Low, ball 4. Here we go. Couple walks in this inning. Mariners making them work. Let's get into that Rangers bullpen. And Daniel, that's good to hear that it was as packed as it was. And I think people are going to be excited for this team as they go along, as they see something that's new. And they don't, a little bit of that, again, stuck in place feeling gets dislodged. Doesn't mean you're good this year, but it means now you're onward to something. You're moving up to something. You're headed towards something. If you can reach that or not, it's going to depend on the back end moves they make and if they can get a quarterback and if things can round out. But you now are on that ascent, I feel like. Big Country, what's up, man? Ham Swaggerty's right. I love Ham Swaggerty. What an addition, and what a nice just to have a guy like this hitting 360 in this lineup with his defense, with his speed, with his clutchness. Dylan Moore steps up to the plate now. Runners on first and second, 2 men out. Perez struggling a little bit with his location here. Swing and a miss. He got a 93-mile-an-hour fastball right on the meaty portion of the plate, and Dylan just swung right through it. Had good movement. Look at a four-seamer there that was going away from him a bit, but that's right on the middle of the plate, just about waist high. A little lower than waist. 0-1 delivery here. Perez looks back. Low. That's where Perez is missing this inning, is he's missing low with a couple of these walks. Ethan Tuckwell should be 2-0 with Swaggerty. Yeah, I don't know what. At least Eugenio didn't run on his own. It was Aka sending him. 1-1 here. Foul back. Pretty funny. He got foul back, and the guy sitting behind with the net in front of him, one of the guys ducked. Like he was going to get really hit by it. Good reactions by him, though. The guy behind him would have gotten it. I think that they should. I think that they shouldn't allow a net in the back. I think you should, if you get to sit that close, the price you have to pay is risking taking one right off the schnoz. I know it's way too dangerous, and a lawyer would have a field day with it, but make them sign a waiver. You can't tell me that wouldn't make the game a little more exciting. Oh, he went. No, he didn't. Nice break there on Dylan Moore on that one. He looked like he had gone on that check swing. 2-2. Perez up to 29 pitches here. Swag steal. Demo's getting on base. Demo getting on base is a task, laughing out loud. Yeah, it's always a bit of an adventure with Mr. Dylan Moore in it, with him at the plate. Dylan 2-2 pitch, inside and low. Oh, he got the call. Dylan doesn't look like he likes it. He's shaking his head. I don't like it either. Perez has gotten a couple of those calls in off the plate, and boy, the umpire kind of bailed him out because that's where he's been struggling to land his location. The umpire's going to give him those strikes throughout the course of this game. It's going to be a long game for the Mariner hitters. You can't do anything with something 2 to 3 inches on the inside part of the plate there. You guys can see it, I'm sure, on the pitch tracker. That's no. It's not a strike. I know it's a sinker, so it's got the sinking action to it, but that wasn't a strike. That was just, no. My hair's a little funky today, guys. I didn't even comb it today, so. Surprised it's not sticking up. I forgot. Yeah, these umps, it's like, what was that? You know? What was that? What the hell was that? Seahawks 12 man says even though Sam doesn't get to play and play as much in the lineup when he's on plate, he should be a pitcher's fear. Hey, he's a scary guy in this lineup. One of the few guys hitting 300 in this lineup. Him in France, right? So, and again, he's gotten to a point now where he's far beyond a sample size of data, I feel like, with it. I don't think he's close enough to quite, qualify to be up there among the league leaders as far as plate appearances go. But there's no reason right now that Haggerty shouldn't be, in my opinion, a full-time player at this point. It's pretty much undeniable, right, at this point for what he's done. The other guys out there that you've tried to trot out there instead of him, be it a Dylan Moore or even a Winker or anything else, like they're not bringing it home. They're not bringing it there. They're not coming anywhere near or close to what he's doing from a productivity standpoint. Seahawks 12 man says these umps, bro. It always happens when we're playing the Rangers. Well, he's had about, I would count in my off 4 or 5 calls in 2 innings that the pitch trackers had out of the zone that he's put in the zone. It's kind of suspect. Really giving him the benefit of the doubt. And it's a sinker that a lot of these are happening on. So again, you got to, it's definitely sinking. It's in the zone, sinking out of it. But the pitch tracker's showing it being pretty far off. First pitch by Gilbert's a 97-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside part of the plate. Nathaniel Lowe up to the plate, hitting .284 with 16 home runs, 48 RBIs. Nathaniel Lowe kind of rounded himself out into a pretty decent season here for the Rangers. Woo! You ain't touching that one. Strike 2. Oh, Lordy. That knuckle curve was a nasty knuckle curve right on the back door of the plate. 0-2 here now to Nathaniel. Swing and a miss on a 98-mile-an-hour heater. Logan says, I don't need to waste a pitch. I like seeing him not mess around there. Go right after the hitters in the zone. No doubt he's sitting there thinking, is it slider? I'm going to get knuckle curve again. Nope. You're getting the 98-mile-an-hour cheese. That's what I said about Gilbert, too. If he's tired, it's not a matter of, you don't see it on his arm. Velocity's there and a little foul tip. He just caught it. All that's there with him. It's a matter of spotting. And what's interesting on that about is that the catcher had it set up most of that bat to the inside part of the plate, and that's right where he was on it. 84-mile-an-hour slider. First pitch strike here. Nice little pitch there on that one. Another knuckle curve, man. He had that thing going. Ball outside, 1-2. Ethan Brandon, I'm so happy you are doing these Mariners streams. Such a blast being able to talk baseball and Mariners and such an interesting time for the team. Hey, I agree, man. I'm having a great time with you guys on this, and I love doing it, man. So I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it going here. And that's another strikeout. Strike 3 on that one. Logan working very fast here. Got a slider right on the outside part of the plate, and he gets a little bit of a benefit of the doubt on that one. A little bit called strike, but all right. I'm just got a little bit of a loose zone today. Got a little loose zone on this ump. The bolts aren't all pulled down. But hey, I'm having a great time with Ethan. It is a fun time to be a Seattle fan of sports teams, in my opinion, because both teams are doing interesting things. They're not in a depressive state, which I like. And that's a base hit out into left field with 2 men on. It's going to happen when you're going after the hitters and you're being this aggressive and you're staying in the zone. But I hope he stays with it here and keeps it up. Logan's going to try to keep him close over there, understandably so with 2 outs. Brad Miller up the plate, hitting 198 on the year. Swing and a miss. Fastball high outside part of the plate. He's got that fastball cooking today. Some good rising movement to it as well. Oh, one delivery. Ball outside. Logan's definitely mixing up his pitches here. It's interesting to see. 1-1. Outside again, ball two. Ball two. Big Country says the ump's going to be calling that strike all day. I guess. We're going to have a fast game if he's going to be calling this wide out the zone. This thing will be over in 2 hours and 20 minutes. 2-1 pitch here from Gilbert. Can't get him to bite. 3-1. Boy, you don't want to walk a guy hitting 196, do you? He can't even afford batting gloves. You don't want to walk a guy who can't afford batting gloves. Swing and a miss. Nice pitch. 97-mile-an-hour fastball at the knees. That was very, very nice. Seahawks 12 man. Dave Sims and Aaron Goldsmith, best announcers right now. I don't know. I don't have enough. I don't know of enough track record of listening to the recent guys out there. So I don't have enough. Who's the good ones out there? Who's the ones that are considered the best? And then he does end up walking Brad Miller. You can kind of see Logan there just in an odd way, really missing wildly on all of those balls. Not really close to the zone on those ones. I think where the control just gets a little weird with him at times where he's locked in, and then a batter comes up and everything's just all over the place suddenly. Get back to pounding that zone there. I don't know if it's that hard hit, base hit, like when, okay, I got to be more careful here. He just had a bad batter there. Bubba Thompson up now, 214 on the year. Gilbert, runners on first and second. Hit up, foul. Slider there. Goldie's good though. I agree with Big Country on that. He's definitely. I like his energy. I like his emotion on his calls. So he's definitely a really good one they got. 0-1, hit off the hands. 0-2, tough pitch there. Bubba's not doing anything with that. Logan has got the lowest ERA versus the Rangers starters in a single season in Mariner history right now with a 1.02 ERA here in 2022. Langston had a 1.09 in 88. Johnson had a 1.24 in 97 and a 1.50 in 87. Langston and Johnson just owned the hell out of the Rangers. Those guys just crippled them. They're showing the stat on the screen. It's like 109, 124, 150, 157. Had some years where you really took it to them. 0-2 pitch. Woo! Caselli's got to climb the ladder on that one to get to that high fastball there. That thing was 98 miles an hour and climbing. Gilbert with the payoff pitch. Swing, batted on the ground. Crawford is up. Tough throw. Runner's fast. You always know he's fast when the helmet comes flying off his head because he's running so fast. But he manages to make the play. We've seen Crawford make a variety of those kind of running up from the deep shortstop position, almost up to the infield grass, catching the ball in the run and still being able to get enough oomph on the ball to get it to first base in time for those runners that are fleet of foot and really closing on the base. Well, another good inning there by Logan Gilbert. Gets himself out of trouble. Got through 2 innings. Mariners are up 1-0. Eden Tech World, I like Rick Riz the best. Rick is, I like Rick. I think he's good. I wouldn't say he's bad. I've always been a little bit, even going back to my childhood with Rick, a little bit, I don't know. I'm not as much. I like Rick. I don't want to talk anything bad about Rick. He's an institution here a little bit in his own degree, but I was always a little bit more, when I was a kid, like, can we get back to Niehaus on the calls, please? Can we get Dave back on the mic? Because they would flip, between telecast and radio and back in the day. Ethan says, I think Logan would benefit from taking just a touch longer in between pitches. He's going very fast, just a bit longer. He's got to keep relaxed. He definitely loves to move and work fast. And usually if a pitcher does tend to lean into liking to work that way, it's hard to get him out of that, because when you do start to ask him to now be a little more labored in their approach, it just doesn't fit for them. Some pitchers, I was kind of like this way. You want to get in your rhythm, and you get in a rhythm by having it, throw, back, ball here, get on the mound, get in, find your call, get in your wind, go. And then when you get in that moment where you're having too much time to think, you can sometimes overthink it rather than just going off your instinct and what you want to do there. But it might be helpful for him. He might be rushing. You might be right. Might be rushing a little bit. Big Country says, yeah, Niehaus was in a tier of his own. He really was. He was really. I'm so. And again, these announcers are good right now, but I can never quite, to the kids that weren't around when Niehaus was around growing up and hearing him and his ability of it. I would say it's even different than, let's say, like a Pete Gross for the Seahawks side, because Pete Gross is looked at as kind of also, as well as a little bit in legendary status from the Seahawks thing, as being one of those original long-time announcers for the team. With Niehaus, it was a little bit different to me. He was really a special talent for what he did, and was so unique in what he brought to the table as far as announcer. You couldn't copy him. An 0-1 here to Julio now as the lineup turns over for the Mariners. Perez up to 31 pitches here on the day already here through 2 innings. Julio hitting .272 with 18 home runs on the year. Gets him to swing out of the zone there. Strike. That was a fouled off on the 4-seam fastball. See if the kid can protect here. You're going to be getting that changeup now, so you got to be careful on this. Changeup's not going to make it easy. It's not going to make it easy. Perez taking a long time. Julio steps out for a second. Ethan says, wish he did some TV broadcasting. That's why I still enjoy listening to games, but the audio broadcast is so delayed on the app that it's really frustrating a lot of the time. Yeah, I would understand. I could bet. And the ball's batted on the ground, picked up, and Julio thought he got there maybe safe. He ran it out hard, but just couldn't quite run it out. Got the Mariner and the got the mustache in the dugout checking to see if indeed he was out. And yeah, good play there. Julio was right there, but just good throw, good play, and they managed to get him. He's fast, isn't he? He is fast. Libra Dragon says, Dave, Niehaus was elite. Vin Scully recently passed, and those two have always been in my top 2. I grew up listening to Vin Scully in the 1960s. I would definitely put those guys in the same territory myself. I think some people think Vin was, he's definitely, Dave was in this, but Vin was up here. I think they both, to your point, were both in the same special territory of baseball announcers that, there's good baseball announcers and then there's special baseball announcers. And that ball is up a little bit high, so the umpire is going to go ahead and give strikes to the bottom of the zone, but not the top of the zone. That's okay. We're learning the zone here in this game. Mariners are too. He calls that a ball at the top, so 1-1 here to tie. Ty grounded out in the first inning. But I agree. Elite. There was just again. I think you can say it almost. You can't duplicate them. You couldn't copy their style. It was all their own. Their voice was unique. Their cadence was unique. Just everything you'd want for your own kind of announcer for your team. Those guys had, and Niehaus had to keep you interested. In my childhood, a lot of times, that ball's high and up inside, but then he's going to call a strike on that one. This umpire's having some definite glasses issues. We've got some definite 30-60 sight going on here behind the plate. That was inside by a good 2 to 3 inches. He's wild with his zone right now. Like, this umpire is really all over the place. And not just bad for Mariners, just all over the place. 2-2. inside. I'm surprised he didn't call that a strike. It's almost about the same pitch as the last one, but he decides to call this one a ball. Come on, Blue. Already got Perez up to 38 pitches now. Three-two pitch here to tie. Low, ball 3. But yeah, I was saying with Dave too, is to keep you invested and interested in so many of those years where the Mariner team wasn't good. You'd be listening on a Sunday afternoon knowing they were far out of first place, but he would spin a tail, or he would work his way around, just keeping you invested in the action in a way that was so unique and hard to do. It's hard to do when you don't have a team very good for that long to keep that energy and spirit like Dave did. So glad he got to see like a 95 run, a 2001 run at least. Haniger will step up to the plate now. He lined out in the first on a hard hit ball. Nice pitch there at the bottom of the zone. Strike. Like a change there. Mitch has been hitting really well since coming back off the IL. Just what we had kind of hoped we were getting back in the lineup when he returned. Perez comes set. France gets his lead at first. One man out. Outside ball. TJ says, anyone have working stream? All the regular sites aren't working today. I'm sorry. I'm just doing mine through the FUBU, so I'll see if someone... 1-1. Haniger waving that bat. Deep in his little crouch there. Strike. That was a good pitch. 94-mile-an-hour fastball in the black. Nothing Mitch could do with that. Nothing Mitch was going to do with that pitch. Ethan, Aaron Goldsman, and Dave Sims are very hit and miss. Aaron will have some great calls, but keeps the excitement of his calls on plays that really shouldn't be like that. And Dave does the opposite. Yeah, he swung. Strike 3. It's a good pitch, far inside off the plate and almost at his feet, but he got him to swing. Check swing. Boy, how much movement that pitch must have to get Mitch to check swing it when it ends up so far outside the zone. Seattle Mariners series record over the last 14 series. They have 11 wins, 2 losses, and 1 split. Both of those 2 series losses, of course, came against the Astros. So your Mariners have really done a great job of just stacking up series win after series win. They had that 14-game winning streak, but also post that, maintaining those series wins, which is really elemental to a baseball team wanting to go and make the playoffs. It's really just about stacking up series win after series win. Hard to sweep everybody and be on those 10-game winning streak runs. Eugenio Suarez steps up to the plate, and 0-1 quickly on him. Oh, he got his pitch right there. There's your one pitch at bat that you get. 93-mile-an-hour fastball right over the middle of the plate, and he just bangs it back, just misses it. Perez shaking his head. He knows he got away with one there. 0-2 here to Eugenio. Sometimes you don't get 3-4 pitches of bat. Sometimes you just get that one tasty one. You better get out the fork and the knife when you do. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Inside, was that it looked like the change to me on the inside portion of the plate. Oh, it was a cutter. Sorry, that was his cutter. His change goes a little bit lighter than that. It's a good pitch. Definitely cut. Definitely did what it says it's supposed to do. And Ethan, I feel similarly on that. I'm kind of the same thing with Dave Sims on it too. I mean, I don't mean to throw. It sounds like I'm throwing shade at like Rick Riz and Dave Sims to say it's like they kind of have in the same category for me a little bit in how they call the games. They're not bad, but you can also feel like there is a little bit. You've got your drop from where we once were with Dave to where we are a little bit now in that realm of things. King Pokemon Nation, did you see the Harry Carey hologram? No, but that sounds scary. that sounds like a horror movie. Oh my goodness! Did they have him like singing out, "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" at Chicago, like a hologram of it or something? It's kind of cool if they did. Libra says baseball is a story. The best announcers describe it so well. They really do, Libra. I mean, it's hard to, because you can't exactly put your finger on the exact way they're going about doing it. Everybody who does it great always has their different approach for how they accomplish it. But it's the ability to tell a story. You know, it's not like other sports, I think, where you're in on the play-by-play and you're just telling the action and it's all very static. And, you know, with this one, it's more of you're free and open to kind of go wherever your mind sort of takes you as an announcer. If you can be, let's not say riveting, but so interesting, because baseball is a sport, takes its time. Let's unravel slowly. It gives you those moments to, you know, discuss things outside of what's just happening with the action on the field. You know, if you see something that happens and it draws to mind a story you remember. And it's tough to do for those announcers. It's hard. It's hard to be kind of that free-flowing while then getting back on point, then go to free-flowing. It'd be much easier like what you can do on football broadcasts where you're just, you know, 2nd and 10, 3-man split, guy in shotgun, played it up. You know, it's a little more of just a bump and a bump and a bump. And Logan comes back out the hill for the top of the 3rd, misses with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball at the top of the zone for 1-0. D-Boy, what's up, man? D-Boy, it's good to see you in the chat. Misses again, very same place. That was a little more borderline, but I guess the umpire's not giving borderline pitches at the top of the zone. He is giving them at the bottom of the zone in this game. Logan takes a deep breath. Wind, delivery. 3 straight pitches, all 3 in this very same place, right at the top of the zone, missing high. So last inning, Gilbert's control started to wane a bit, and 4 straight pitches, you walk the batter. Boy, when he gets locked out, he gets locked out, doesn't he? I mean, that's the 9 hitter in the order. You don't want to just walk him on 4 pitches. What are we scared of? I mean, just pump the zone, go after the guy. Right? Odd. Ethan says, remember last year at the end of the season when Haniger went off against the Angels and he hit that base hit? Dave Sims' call on that was amazing. I wish he was more consistent with his excitement. Me too. I do remember that call. That was a great call by him on that. 12-man, this is one of the best turnaround seasons I've seen any team do. Me as well. To lock in like they have, it's been very surprising. I again thought at the end of the day this team would probably win a few more games than they lost. I didn't think they were going to do good as they did last year because there was so much of a magical carpet ride on the back of them attaining that record like they did. And as they tell you in baseball, that's hard to replicate year in, year out. And right now, Logan's thrown 6 straight balls here. He has just completely kind of lost his feel for the zone. Again, you got such great stuff. They can't hit you in the zone with your stuff. They can't hard hit you when you put it in the zone. You got to trust it, then get that ball just in there. You can't do this nibbling around thing. And boy, the Adolis Garcia absolutely bailed him out Marcus Semien bailed him out, on that play by hitting up a fly ball up into right field there. You got a pitcher like that that's scuttling. They've thrown 6 straight balls. It's kind of the modern hitters in their approach sometimes is just so wonky, you know. He's showing you all the signs, and then you let him out. You let him off the hook a little bit. I know it's going to be a strike call, but then you're still 2-1 at that point. These guys are just so free swinging in the modern age. Corey Seager will come up now, maybe the most dangerous hitter in this Texas Ranger lineup, hitting .251 with 26 home runs and 59 RBIs. Boy, him and his brother look so similar to each other. Almost like they're brothers. Swing and a miss. Nice pitch there. Is that the change I think he gave him? Looked like a change. Oh, no, his knuckle curve. Boy, didn't have a lot of movement, but you could definitely tell Seager was amped up for that fastball. Gilbert's going to keep the runner on close at first. Either says, for example, someone will hit a home run and Sims will call it as if it were some meaningless base hit. I have heard him do that. Yeah, that's so weird. And that one's hit out of there, and that's a home run for the Mariners. Seager hitting .257 this year against righties, .237 against lefties. Ethan says, I think Rick is the best storyteller amongst the crew. I like how he paints the picture of the ballpark and where everything is happening. He does do a good job of that. And he's very polished. All his years in doing this, he's a pro. You know, he's been doing it for years, and he definitely knows how to go about his business with it. Big Country says, I was thinking about 85 wins this year, but now it looks like more like 90 with a wild card spot. That's what I thought too, Big Country. I thought it was still going to be a stepping stone year to getting you to the place of being competitive and competing and getting up into the upper echelon of the top teams in the AL. But I thought you were still probably a year out from really engaging that with the way baseball moves so slowly to kind of build to that lane of things. But indeed, stuff has jump-started a lot quicker this year. And it's been so fun to watch this team have this happen. That's a 97-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside portion, so that will be 0-2 now here to Corey. See if you come back with a knuckle curve. You got to figure like Corey's looking knuckle curve, and you could slide the fastball past him here like we've seen Logan do at times. No, he goes with the slider. Misses low and inside. 1-2. But yeah, I thought about the same thing, Big Country. And I was still going to be encouraged by an 85-win season. I still was going to feel like that's them moving forward here. Runner gets his lead at first. 1-2 delivery is a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, a little bit low. Wash Visquez says, I was at the Rainiers game Friday. We lost 4-5. Toro's batting average is like 200, but he's so clutch. Three-run homer to keep us in it, then took a walk in the ninth. Couldn't get him in, though. Oh, that sucks. But, yeah, Toro gives you the clutchness. He's got the clutch gene. Swing and a miss on a 2-2 pitch. Seager was out of the zone there. That was a slider, wasn't it? Sure did look like it. What a gnarly pitch. Again, you get those guys swinging at a slider that ends up bouncing in the dirt in front of the catcher. You get him to swing. That's a naughty amount of movement right there. It's a naughty amount of movement. One-0 here now to Adolis Garcia. The Mariners are going to play. Oh no, they're going to play him straight up here in the field. Adolis 3 for 10 in this series. Hit up into the air, high and a little deep, but Julio is underneath it, and that will be out number 3. So Logan, for the second straight inning, gets himself out of a little bit of trouble here, locks himself back in on his control, and no runs through 3 innings. 12th man says, since Toro was sent down, maybe he can get a little bit better and start being clutch. He's been, when you needed him in certain, he just can't hit consistently. But you brought him up to the plate in big moments. He's had his share of delivered spots. He just can't consistently do it with the at-bats anywhere in between. Seahawks 12 man, 36 pitches, 3 Ks, not bad through 3 innings. Not bad. Not bad at all. Love to see him get a little bit later in this game, that's for sure. Right back here, folks. More coffee. All right, offense, come on now. Let's get to Perez here. Let's get to Perez. Hope you're doing well, by the way, D-boy. All right, Carlos Santana steps on up to the plate here now. We're in the top of the fourth inning. Perez has got 46 pitches thrown here. Santana hitting 199 with 11 home runs on the season. Let's get that average up over 200, Carlos. Come on now. 1-0. Carlos had some tough calls in the first at bat by the ump. Or at least one tough call in his bat. He always seems to be good for one of them in his bats. No control from him on that, but ooh, goodbye. Outside part of the zone. 2-0. Seahawks 12 man. The times I've seen Toro come in clutch this season: 1 late inning, 9th inning home run against the Rays. Soon for Ty to walk off. 2 home run against the Angels to tie. Just couldn't get the job done. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad. I'll say this, Seahawks 12 man. I say it jokingly on the clutch stuff as much as I'm really serious about it, because I don't know if a guy's really got. My opinion wavers on whether really a clutch gene or clutch ability is like something you'd put in like the MLB show. Like, he's got a good clutch hit, and boy, I told you guys, Carlos gets one in at bat at least, and there's his one. Where it looks a little bit out of the zone and can't get the ball call there. I mean, it's right there on the line, so it's a borderline pitch. The umpire's been calling balls further out of the zone, down and low in this game alone. So he has set the. But it's just funny with Carlos. He always seems to get one pitch that's not there, and that was a good one. That was right on the outside Porter at the knees. Strike 2. So we got 3-2. I like the patience here by Carlos though. Got this count to a 3-2 count. Sometimes he can get a little hacky up there. You can get a little free swinging. I like he's taking a little bit here. 3-2. No doubt Perez is going to come back. Ooh, he was on that fastball. Blistered it foul into the fans. I could think. You see why they got that net up over on the left-hand foul side there, as he put that on a line. That was going to take off a fan's head if that got to the crowd before it hit that net. All right, he went fastball. Does he? He probably comes back with change, seeing him so on that. It's a change or breaking ball. You're not going to come back with a fastball again here. Yeah, he came back with the cutter. And he fouls it up, and first baseman Lowe has got it, and that's out number 1. Yeah, he saw Carlos on that fastball in the last pitch, and he goes, I'm not throwing another one of those. Seahawks 12 man says the third time for Toro was against the Red Sox for D. Moore to walk it off. And then, man, this scorecard is going to look interesting. Yeah, he's not going to be the highest rated game, I think, for him this year behind the dish. Then number 4 against the Astros to give us the late inning lead. So he's got a little bit of it in him, Seahawks 12 man. Just a little bit. He's had some moments there. Remember last year, too, against Braverman, right after we made the trade with the Astros, and you literally had that moment where the bases were loaded and he came up and hit the home run off the guy that he was traded for, and how many Mariner fans hated that trade at the time. Crawford takes 1-0 here on a ball that bounces in the dirt. 1 out. Crawford reached on an error in the second inning on a strange throw by the third baseman. He seemed to have plenty of time. Easy little throw there and just threw it wide. Strike. Fastball outside part of the plate. Washington's question is, I think the clutch gene exists in baseball. Pressure can free some people's minds, especially overthinkers. Of course, does the opposite for many. I guess I do tend to think it does exist. It's just harder to, outside of just, I guess, the stat of, how do they do with runners in scoring position, I guess. It's just sometimes of a hard metric, and then you sometimes read about how things will regress to the mean from year to year on a player who's that way. But that's what they used to say about Jeter, right? Said he was super clutch in those big moments where that very thing happened with him. How about the Mariner fan getting a foul ball off Crawford's bat in the stands? There we go. Hard hit ball down the line. Good piece of hitting by Crawford. Never tries to do too much with the pitch. And does such a great job from the left-handed side of just going with that outside pitch, putting it on a line, I mean, he's probably had 30, 40 hits this year that are hitting just that same kind of fashion. Good piece of hitting on his part. One reason and again, Crawford, he's not hitting up at the 300 level he's hitting early in the year. But the reason you feel a little bit easier about giving up those 2 shortstops in that trade with Castillo early on is because you do still feel very solid about where you are with Crawford now and into the future with him at shortstop. Not those guys were close to the major league level, but you felt a little comfortable having signed that 5-year deal to Crawford to be able to pull that off. And Ham Swaggerty is up the plate with runner on. You just don't do that. You're playing with fire, Rangers. You're playing with fire. Takes first pitch strike. Haggerty got that average up to 323 now after a base hit in the second inning. Perez all the way up to 58 pitches here. Definitely making him work. Hit hard, foul. This is JP Oppo, love it. It's swag time, baby. It's Ham Swaggerty time. It drips so hard. He drips so hard. We got to get Haggerty a grill, man. I need a grill on that to complete the ensemble with a couple iced tea diamonds in it. They come up the plate and you can give the pitcher a smile every time. Like they got those guys when they got the grill in, it looks kind of just totally start intimidating fools. He is 0-2 here, though, so he's going to have to do a little bit of fighting. Perez comes set. Outside, good eye, 1-2. No quick at-bats for your Mariner hitters today. A very good job outside that first inning of working the count here on Perez. Getting deep into counts. We've got a couple walks, showing some good patience. Encouraging to see. Come on, Swaggy. Swaggy H. Let's go. 1-2. The Ham man gets ready. Fouls it off. Had a pitch there that he could have done something with. That was 94 right in the middle of the plate and a little bit high. It stays alive. Seahawks 12th man, it'd be nice for JP to hit another home run. His last home run, I remember, was against the Royals. It has been a while, hasn't it? It's been a little bit of time. He definitely has got to play a lot of games. He's one of those guys I do mainly worry a little bit about, too, with all the games he plays and maybe wearing down just a little bit here. It's another guy like Raleigh that if we can find a way to get him a couple of extra games of rest, if we can get ourselves a little bit of cushion here in this wild card standing. And the 1-2 pitch here to Haggerty. Knocked hard back down the line. He put a good swing on that one. But if you can get yourself a little breathing room to be able to rest some of these guys, again, we start to be able to maybe have the opportunity to look at this with an eye towards making sure everyone is at their full strength by the time you reach the playoffs, as opposed to, of course, being a little bit wore down in parts just because you had to expend all of your energy to get there. Perez up to 62 pitches. He's got a 1-2 count here on Haggerty. One man down. Mariners up 1-0. Crawford on first. Outside. Ball 2. Great at bat here by Haggerty. Well, he's got a good eye, doesn't he? Leave a Dragon. Clutch gene is real. My best example is that they are the best at relaxing under pressure, like an Olympic biathlon athlete. You guys are convincing me here. You're bringing me back to that side. Like I said, I waver on it because I'll believe it 100% exists, and then I'll see some other stat or something that's like, no, it's just in your mind. Oof. That was a ball that he managed inside, far inside on the zone, and he somehow managed to fight that one off. I don't know how Haggerty got the bat on the ball in that pitch. That thing had some heavy-duty movement to it. And Perez was upset he didn't get a swing and or miss because he knew how good a pitch that was. I don't know if he cussed or not, but it looked like he kind of cursed a little bit, like, damn, I had him on that. The Ham man is staying alive, though. That's what happens when you're so swaggy. You ain't striking me out easy. You have to earn this strikeout against this swag. 2-2 pitch. Gets a good swing on it, but lifts it a little bit to dead center. It's going to be an easy play for center fielder there. And that will bring 2 outs. Seahawks 12 man, top 3 Mariner games so far this season that you can remember. Well, we got to definitely put the Yankee game in extra innings. 100%. That's got to be that's got to be the first one there. Got to think about the other ones. And I'm still I'm thinking through here in my head on a couple of other ones. Yeah, the Yankee, that's the thing about that one is the first one's really easy on that one. But then finding the other 2 examples, there have been some good wins this year. 13 innings, 13-7 against the Royals and 8-7 against the Mets to take the series win. The Mets one was good. That's another one. Well, here's what I'll say. I'm going to say the Mets game, and then I'm going to say the Angels brawl. Because that was not your everyday run-of-the-mill baseball brawl. That wasn't just, look, we're going to do this. This is a tough man for show contest, and Kurt Casale's down 0-1 here. He drew a walk in his last at bat. But I think that Mets game where I think it was, wasn't it Sewald? I don't know if he was flipping him off. Wasn't he doing something like that? What the hell? Ball's popped up. The Rangers have a little bit of a hard time getting to it there, but they do manage to get it, and that will retire the side in the 4th. So the Mariners do still maintain a 1-0 lead here as we'll go to the bottom of the 4th. But the Mets game where that whole series with the Mets had almost a little bit of a playoff feel to it for whatever reason. They play in the NL. We don't face them that often. But there was just something about that particular series in that game. It was like, I think you had the Sewald game where he's flipping him off and whatnot. So I got to put that one. But the Angels brawl to me beyond what happened on the field in the play. The brawl itself and how that galvanized this team and really truly brought them together. And you've heard of fights doing this in the past. And again, there's different types of fights. There are those fights where it's a lot of patty caking, a lot of we're just going to hold each other in big bear hugs. And, that kind of thing. That was, you looked across that brawl, there were multiple punches being thrown. There were guys being pulled off of everybody else. I mean, there was a legitimate, not only was it punches being thrown, but it was guys having guys' back. Crawford jumping up with his swinging punches on the guy, like everybody was in on that. And conversely, you look at the Angels with that, where you had guys on that were just kind of for show, trying to stand out there like they're walking. Ohtani's trying to look like he's doing something. They're all just kind of, really surprised at the Mariners' energy that they're bringing in that sense. The Mariners came to their dugout. Winker walked towards them, went to them. To me, it seems maybe a little silly from certain aspect of people who go, well, it was just a brawl. But to me, it was that we're in this together. The sense of brotherhood coming from that brawl and just the togetherness and closeness of this team felt like it got a little bit tighter, didn't it? A little bit after that. And I think I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that as another game that absolutely, to me, means so much for the course of the season because of how those events played out and what it allowed you to do as far as within that clubhouse, not on the field. He says, oh, yeah, the third Mets game with Diego Castillo closed in, my heart was beating so fast. I remember that. He made it. I think he made it. He did the Diego thing, too, where he made it interesting, didn't he? Kingfisher, the game Julio hit the home run after Ty got hit by a pitch in Houston is one of my faves. That's a good one, too, man. So many good wins. That's a good one, too. I'd forgotten a bit about that one, but, yeah, that one's good as well. All right, Gilbert back up on the hill here. 3 innings. He's got 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, only 1 hit. Definitely the control has been sometimes locked in, right on point, and sometimes it's just been all over the place. Pitch to pitch, inning to inning. 1-0 pitch, right up the middle there on a fastball, and he bangs it out. This is going to get in the gap and get down for 2. Wash Visquest says, because of this chat, I really enjoyed that last Astros win. Haha, one of those games where you can barely believe we won. Yeah, we had to eke everything we could out against those Astro teams this year so far. They have been really good. Really, really good. Big Country says Santana's 2-home run game versus the Blue Jays is up there too. That one was a good one. Suarez walk-off for the Blue Jays. Man, we've had so many good games. Trying to narrow these down is pretty tough. Pretty tough. All right, runner on second. Ball just off the plate here to Mirbres Viloria. Mirbres Viloria. Let's call him Mr. Viloria. Hit 233 with 2 home runs. Logan missing here, 2-0. Ron Duffney. How you doing, Ron? Ethan says, anytime when Service decides to stand up for the team, I guess you can say getting his shoes dirty is a game I like. He doesn't do it enough. No, I like it when he does too. He's definitely a little bit of an opposite of a guy like Lou Piniella in his very sort of gentle mindset that works for this team, works for a young team really well, I think. And that's a strike now, 2-1. But he's not a fire and brimstone guy like old Lou could be. Still really good, though. Make the argument, too. Service is Rosen, at this point, probably being the second best manager in Mariner history, quietly. (3-1). Logan comes set. Strike. Fastball. Right at the knees. Middle of the plate. 3-2. Big Country's the only other guy that has a case for second would be Bob Melvin. I was thinking that too. I was like, was Bob here long enough? Because Bob was the 2001 coach, right? And that's ball 4 inside. Again, third walk here for Logan Gilbert. The control issues that have been there on his last few starts are still showing up here today. The velocity's there, the movement's there on his pitches. He just can't spot anything. Everything's missing pretty far off the plate as it's missing, too. It's not that even he's painting corners. It's sometimes 5, 6, 7 inches away. And that's a little I know you're going to get of Gilbert anyway in his approach, but it's even more so than you normally see, I think, right now. Strike. 95-mile-an-hour fastball at the knees to Ezekiel Duran. Mariners are going to play this straight up for the double play ball. Even legendary Lloyd would lose his S a pretty fair clip. Yeah, he would. And it can help a team. It can help a team. I hope Service is thinking about a moment if he gets in August here, one of those lazy days, can't get a call, goes out there and tries to, spark the club a little bit. But again, it's not his approach too. And there are just those managers that don't have, we speak about a guy like Bob Melvin was that way too, just very much stoic and taking everything in. 0-1 here to Duran. See if Mariners can get a double play ball. Hit foul, 0-2. Or a strikeout. Ezekiel having a great series here. He's hitting 5 for 8 on Mariner pitchers in this series, so swinging a pretty hot bat. Logan looks back at second, comes set. Hit foul again. Staying alive is Duran on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Logan going right after him. I like to see that. Seahawks 12 man says, let's not forget the game against the O's where Jesse Winker smoked the ball to give up a 2-0 lead. Yeah, that was good. Well, Winker's had some big hits in this year too, hasn't he? He doesn't hit a lot, but he's not one of those guys when he hits, it tends to be a big hit. Seahawks 12 man says, do you think the Mariners will give Drew Steckenrider another chance sometime? I mean, their bullpen is just so magnificent right now. It's going to be hard for anybody that's waiting to kind of break in there to get another chance. So, I mean, maybe at some point, but it's maybe going to take an injury or something How is he pitching right now? Is he at AAA at the moment? Could be off there. 1-2. Slight miss there by another wide miss there by Logan. He's trying to bury a pitch 0-2. He's trying to get a swing and a miss, so that's okay. But now 1-2, you need to come back. 2 runners on. Don't get to messing around with this batter now. And again, 95. That one had to be about 2 feet almost up off out of the zone, because Sally had to really reach up to catch it. I don't know if it's mechanically something's going on with Logan on this, to be missing this far out on these pitches. Another one, again, 18 to 20 inches up off the plate. This is like, Ethan, you're talking about taking a breath. This is right now where you as a starting pitcher need to step off the hill, go pat a little bit of the talcum powder on the backside of things, get yourself a breath. This is where there we go. Okay, step off. There he stepped off. Good. Take a second. Just take a minute now. Don't speed this up. You're fine. It's all good. Of course, here comes the damn porn. Go away, porn people. We don't want you in here. Nobody wants you. That ball's hit up into the air, and Crawford will get underneath it, and so we have out number 1. So we will have out number 1. I should probably do this to make sure I'm getting people finding my deal here. Bear with me for a sec, folks. I'll get the porn out of here. You guys always porn. You guys make us always have to go do so much work to get you guys out of here. Stay away. Stay away. You're out of here. Enough of that. Enough of that noise. There we go. Get my tags right. Oh, sorry, I was changing something and we got a base hit. So base hit does not bring him home. Too hard hit there on Gilbert, but we do now have the bases loaded and 1 man out. Washington Quest says, I wasn't a huge fan of Lloyd McClendon as a skipper, but sometimes I wonder about what would have happened if we'd gotten the wild card his first year. If memory serves, that came down to the last game. I do believe that was the case. And he was a guy with a lot of fire. I like Lloyd's fire. I did. And yeah, he was at one of those points where the team was just wasn't there. He did what he could with what he had. I think, he wasn't going to take that team managing wise to the playoffs. And that's another base hit. This is going to bring home probably 2. And indeed it is. So the Rangers will take the lead here on Logan. Struggling to find the zone. What happens as a pitcher when you struggle to find the zone? You start grooving them. You start going, I got to get more of the meat of the plate. I got to just try to get it over the plate by any means necessary, and that's when major league professional hitters are going to make you pay the price. This ball right there over the middle of the plate, easy as they come. But that is the offshoot of missing as Logan has and really struggling to find his control. Logan up to now 54 pitches here, with only 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning. Yeah, I hate the bots too. YouTube really needs to find a way to eliminate these guys as part of the situation. I don't understand why it's so hard for them to somehow locate a way to just keep it out. It's got to be everybody dealing with it too on their live stream. So strange. All right, Josh Smith up to the plate. Let's see if Logan can stem off the bleeding here. Already 1-0 now on this count. 2-0. Again, missing just wide and inside. There we go. That's what I told you to do about 10 minutes ago. Take your breath. Tap the talcum powder. I know it's rosin. I like to call it talcum powder. And get yourself back up in there. 2-0. And what does he do? Throws a strike and gets a double play ball. See, guys? That's what I'm saying. Like, you got as a pitcher, it's rhythm. It's rhythm. It's rhythm. Sometimes it's rhythm in a good way. Sometimes it's rhythm with you pumping the zone and every pitch is working for you and you're getting nasty movement outside, inside, high, low. Sometimes it's like you can't find you can't find you can't find it at all. You are scuttling. You are looking. You're trying to find and like what Ethan talked about earlier on this with taking a little bit more time, that's what you do then as a pitcher on the offset of that. Is you go, okay, step off the hill, get out of this rhythm I'm in, this bad rhythm. Step off the hill, walk to the back of the hill, grab the rosin, tap it off your hand, get a couple deep breaths, reset your mind, then get back up on the hill. And you saw the second Logan did that for the first time in that inning, he drew down the double play ball. The very second he did it. Sometimes it's as silly as that though with the pitcher. It's just getting that, just take the second, get out of your head for a second. You're up in your God, I can't hit. I'm wild. I'm all over the place. Okay, settle down. Shut up, you know? I remember there's a scene, I'm always going to reference this because Bull Durham's one of the great baseball movies, but there's another scene in Bull Durham where Costner's coming up to the plate to swing, to hit, and the first pitch catches him, and he's talking to himself before the bat about the meat, and bring that fastball here, meat, bring it, and then he starts thinking about something else into the pitch. I think he's thinking like about the girl or something, and he's like, what are you thinking about? Get out of the box. Get out of the box, idiot. Clear your head. Get out of the box. Clear your head, dumbass. And he gets out of the box and he's like, what are you thinking? He's like, takes a breath. It's the very same thing. Like baseball's that way where you can get kind of up into your head because it allows you to get up in your head by the nature of the game. Great job there by Logan though, taking a second. Stephen Cottrell says, Gilbert's turned into Flexen. Maybe the Mariners need to go out and find 3 starting pitchers this offseason and make this cat a reliever. I don't think so. I think Stephen, he's not pitching as well as he had, but again, we got to give, this is like a little bit of the same room I give to a guy like Cal Raleigh, where people will hit him for the sub 200 batting average. And it's just that we got young guys. This is the second year of Gilbert and getting out there on the mound, and guys are going to need their time to develop. And a second year pitcher is going to, even when he can show you those signs of dominance, going to have some up and downs to his game. I think that overall it's been really nothing but positive for Logan throughout the course of this year. But they do have to look at him as if this is a thing that continues on throughout the course of the year of how do we get him back to right next year? What are some of the approaches we can take? The stuff is there with him. It's just about nailing down the control. And young pitchers sometimes have an issue with the control. Look no further than a guy like Randy Johnson. Randy took till his late 20s to finally figure out his control. I mean, when I say wild, that guy was the wildest pitcher you've ever seen in your life through his young 20s to mid 20s. You did not know where the pitch was going to go. And Gilbert's not in that realm of things. I think he'll be fine long term. Dylan Moore up to the plate here. 0 for 1. He's got a 1-1 pitch. Low, 2-1. Nice high. Great way to get out of the innings is Big Country. Logan got his way out. It's a good job. At least 69 Mega is kind of a funny name. That is a funny name. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Moore's had a couple of pitches right over the heart of the plate in this game. In his first at bat, he had this as well. 93-mile-an-hour fastball, literally right down the middle of the plate. And he just swings right through it. TJ says, oh my God, the Rays are 3 outs away from a perfect game. Oh my gosh. We haven't had as many no-hitters this year, it seems like, as we were having in the past. Libra Dragon says, great movie. Oh, it's a classic. Still holds up to this day. Still holds up to this day. Just a perfect, pure baseball movie. 2-2 inside. Umpires called that a strike in this game. He calls that a ball. 3-2 by Dylan. Let's see if we can get the opening runner on base here. Get yourself on here, Dylan. Get yourself on for Julio. You know you're getting the fastball. He's not going to want to walk you and set Julio up on base. So sit dead red here. He's pumped it right to the middle of the plate at times. Look for it there. High, ball 4. Great eye by Dylan Moore. That was close. It was borderline, but it was out of the zone. Seahawks 12 man. Let's see if D Moore gets soothing cooking. Yeah, that was out. Close, but out. Seahawks 12 man. Obviously, Gilbert's good since he was like 10-4 or 10-5. Yeah, he's fine. He's just going through a rough patch right now. And again, a young pitcher, it's not unexpected in a guy that's in his second professional full season to go through a rough patch. I'm sure we could find a lot of dominant starting pitchers in this league that you look at their second year, and they're, even if it's a good overall year, there were those probably points that existed in that time. It's a long season. You got to learn how to be a professional. And Dylan Moore draws a throw it over to first base. Can't imagine he's going to be looking to run here necessarily with Julio up. Julio! That's right. Let's go, Julio. Julio 0 for 2 with a line out and a ground out. Almost beat out the ground out and hit a line shot out there to center fielder that made him jump off his feet. But is 0 for 2. Libra Dragon says, oh, look, a walk on 5 balls. Laughing out loud. Y2KHA, what's up, man? He says, come on, Julio. Let's go. And boy, Perez very worried about Dylan Moore over on first base, continually stepping off here before he's even gotten to one pitch with Julio. Now comes set. Julio ready. Julio hits it up right to the center fielder on a lazy fly ball. And that will be out number 1. Y2KHA says this bar also has a professional League of Legends on. Laughing out loud. Oh my God. We're broadcasting League of Legends games. Oh my goodness. It's come to that. All right. Ty France steps up to the plate. Perez has given this Mariner team lineup share of troubles. Only 2 hits here through 4 1/3. Y2KJ, so how freaking good is Sam Haggerty? Oh, he's been amazing. You know, and with a certain set of number of guys that weren't really developing like you thought one of them at least would, be it from Lewis to maybe a Dylan Moore to a Kelenic, Toros to Winkers. You know, you got a lot of these guys that you just go, man, you guys just really don't have a whole lot to give us in this lineup right now. And Winker's okay, at least where he draws walks, gets on base, has occasional power, but can't play in the field. So it's like if he's not being a plus bat, then it's not, you know, he kind of undoes a lot of what he does at the plate then at the field. But with a guy like Haggerty to then step forward with those guys slumping a little bit and drifting a little bit, it's been one of the big boons to this season that's kept us where we are. And after a 1-0 pitch, France takes an outside cutter for strike 1. Big Country, France is 293. I remember when it was like 310. Yeah, France kind of been in that range a little bit. We've seen with Crawford here recently where it's mid-season, you know, a little past mid-season. You're in the depths of August. These are the kind of games that challenge the mentality of a baseball player and keeping yourself engaged, keeping that body feeling fresh enough to come out there and still, you know, do what you've been doing throughout the course of the year. Obviously, the guy like France, too, he's had the injury situation with wrist and had the arm. You do wonder about where he is as far as from a health standpoint. He's definitely not feeling 100% at this point in time in the year. Perez up to 76 pitches here. Mariners have at least made him work relatively well. France locked in here, 1-1. France hits it hard, but foul. That was a pitch he could work with there. Again, Mariner bats are getting with Perez here. He's putting some balls in the middle of the zone, saw it in the Dylan Moore bat, and they're just not able to do anything with it. They're fouling these pitches back or swinging through them. Big Country says, but 290 isn't bad considering it's closer to his career average. Hey, 290 in this lineup is amazing. So France has definitely not been, a part of the problem as far as this lineup is concerned at times. Undoubtedly. All right, 1-2 pitch here from Perez. Probably going to see that cutter again. They're going inside part of the plate on France with it. It's a great pitch. Runner stealing. And Dylan Moore gets in there. Nice job by Dylan Moore. Great jump. He gets in there safe. So Mariners got a runner in scoring position now. France able to hold up on a swing there. 2-2. Mariners are 2 for 2 stolen base opportunities in this game. Y2K, I don't get people who hate Dylan Moore. He provides a lot of value off the bench. I mean, my hate comes into just, from my standpoint, it's not hate, just I feel like you can have better options than Dylan Moore when he's out there. He can give you good, defense, but, I just don't think that he gives you a lot at the plate. You got a hitter down at the mark of, what is he hitting at right now? Guy's hitting 192. I mean, you got to understand the hate that he's getting. When a guy's hitting 192, he's going to get hate, and it's well deserved. That's a miserable batting average this far into the season. Mitch Haniger up now. 2 men out. And takes the first pitch strike. Perez is really locked in this game. Working his pitches, working the zone. Had a little bit of struggles with his own control early on, but he's done a good job of staying on top. And that's going to be a base hit out into left field. This is going to score more. More easily rounding the bag. And Mitch Haniger once again shows you what an addition his bat does and adds to this lineup. Fantastic job there hitting there. Just puts a good swing, sweet, clean stroke on the ball. Nice and level as he does. And when you put the barrel on the bat with a level swing, good things happen, as I like to say. Nice base hit there by him. Clutch as hell. 2 outs. Something that, of course, has been missing. And now Haniger runs his hitting streak up to 11 games. Absolutely been just what this lineup needed. Eugenio Suarez up to the plate now. 1-1 runner on first. Suarez first pitch swinging, and he had himself one to hit. Again, right middle of the plate, high. Little 91-mile-an-hour cutter there, so it's got some movement to it. But that cutter you want low and at the knees. You get up high like that in the middle of the plate, that's going to be a little bit more in the danger zone for hitters. 0-1. Bounces the ball at the plate. Seahawks 12th man says, I called it. Yeah, you did call it, man. Good call on that one. God, how nice has it been having this guy back? I said, we just need this offense. If we're going to make noise in the playoffs, we're going to get to the playoffs. We just need this offense to be able to generate enough runs. Just 3-4 runs sometimes in a given game will be enough, I think, once you get in the playoffs. And if this kind of lineup with Haniger in here, with Haggerty in here, we just need a lot more H names in this lineup is what we need. High, ball 2, good eye there by Suarez, 2-1. A really good eye. I was almost about to hit him, so if he swung at that would have been silly. Perez now up to 83 pitches on this game. Earners have done a good job of making him work, even though he's done a good job, I think, relatively of staying in the zone. 2-1 pitch. Great pitch there. Fastball right at the knees. Steve Cottrell, outside of Haniger, do you happen to know who else is going to be a free agent on the offensive side of the ball after this year? I'm thinking through, but as I understand it, there's nobody else you have on that's going to be a free agent. I believe both Winker and Suarez have another year of club control. Suarez at least has one more year of club control. And I believe Ty is at least on another. I haven't checked Ty, but I think he's on at least one more year. So, no, everybody in your bullpen's coming back. They're all basically young arms you're bringing back to the table on it. What do we got Seawald on? He might be the one guy I have a question on, but no, that's basically it. All right, the Rangers are employing a shift to one side as they hold the runner on first base. There's a lot of room there, though, to the right side of the diamond there if Suarez can find a way to go with this. He is a real dead pull type hitter for the most part. And this is going to be a 3-2 payoff pitch. Runner's going to be going from first. He does go away a little bit with it, but it's fouled back. Perez really gets some nice run on that four-seamer. Really is running away from those right-handed batters. Makes it hard for them to get the barrel on the ball cleanly. Adam Frazier's a free agent, Big Country? Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I mean, he's okay. But, he's replaceable. 250 with okay defense. Not bad, not great, okay. I think you can replace that. If he was hitting more in the 275, 280 range of things and getting on base and that kind of thing, I might be in a different lane of things. All right, 3-2 pitch here. Suarez is hung in there on this at bat. Perez comes set. Payoff pitch is low and inside. Ball 4. Great at bat there by Suarez. Draws his second walk. The Mariners have caused a season-high 5 walks. Martin Perez with 5 walks today. Highest all year long. Shows again a little bit more of that patience in this Mariner lineup, a patience that I've been preaching for this Mariner team. It's been the place that I thought, as the bats go cold, it is the one point of control that they were not utilizing. You can't always control if you're just going to hit the ball hard at guys, or you're going to hit it, you're going to face some tough pitchers, or you're just going to face some tough pitches over a stretch as a batter. But the part that you can control is the patience and taking pitches and working counts and fighting off 2-strike counts like we saw Eugenio there. Didn't die easy, was fighting those balls off. That's what you are seeing a little bit more of in this game, which is impressive, and I love to see. Doesn't always equate to success, but it gets you a little bit closer, I think, on the pathway to on those days where it's tough and you just can't get a guy in your lineup hitting the ball hard consistently. You can generate a little bit more at that point. Man, good job here in this inning. I love this inning from the Mariners. Dylan Moore getting on, then able to then get the stolen base. You get the timely base hit. You're working Perez through. You're going to get now into this bullpen here as he's up to 88 pitches here in the top of the 5th inning. See if that doesn't benefit the Mariners a little later on in this game as well. Santana up to the plate now with 2 men on. Strike. Fastball right at the knees. And go Hawks 05. I saw your question on that in 1 second. I just want to get through this inning and I'll answer your Hawks question on that. 0-1. Santana hitting 199 on the year. Ball bounced in front of him. 1-1. Go says, I just saw the worst Hawks take ever. The Hawks lost two Hall of Famers, and they have them going 2-15 with no further explanation. These guys just don't put any thought into it. Shaking my head. No, they don't. They really don't. Go Hawks. And it got a little bit to me absurd early on in this offseason when I was hearing this, or midway through the offseason. And that ball's hit hard, but right at the center fielder. Seems like Mariners have had about 5 or 6 hard-struck balls that have been right on a line, and they've been right at the center fielder dead set straight away. But that will retire the side. The Mariners do get 1 run back, and that will bring us even 2-2 now. So we are able to bring this back for Logan. Let's see if he can settle down here now and get his control back under respect. But go Hawks. I mean, this is why the lazy takes of the Seahawks the upcoming season and the way that the team's being viewed simply because they lost Russell and Bobby, I found it to be really beyond the pale at times. And it really was housed, to your point, in a bit of a lazy in their evaluation of the team. It's the easy take to have. It's the take that people come back for you for next and they go, well, you were right about the Seahawks. I'm like, well, yep, 2 Hall of Famers you lose. That's what's going to happen. It makes it very easy for them to come back and say, well, and it's not that straightforward and easy in my opinion with it. And it's why I tried to start to build the case and will continue to build the case that the team will I believe, be better than people are prognosticating them out to be. There's legitimately a big swath of guys nationally that see this team as the maybe worst roster in all of the NFL, that we are going to be competing for the number 1 overall pick. I just think I think that's silly. I do. And I'm not saying the team's going to the playoffs, but I think that it is all based a little bit on a laziness of take. And simply the fact that we don't have, Russell Wilson as the starting quarterback anymore, and so that means we have to suck. And I think it's not based on anything. It's lazy. It's why I don't put a lot into it, but it's also why Go Hawks. I put so much energy into trying to make this argument this year of how they could be good, how that portrait could be painted, and I think it's feasible. I don't think it's crazy to think it's a possibility. And if it happens, I'm going to relish being able to, call these people out that were so certain that they were going to be so bad this year. Ethan says, I want the Rangers bullpen by the 7th, preferably the 6th too. We're going to get into it by the 7th, I'd say minimum at this point. Maybe the 6th, depending on if we can keep him working through that inning. All right, Logan comes up now. First pitch ball. Logan's got 4 innings of work here. 3 strikeouts, 3 walks, 4 base hits, and 2 earned runs. It's been a bit of a mixed bag for him. Y2K, so yesterday I chose baseball. You got a breakdown of the football game? Sure. Both quarterbacks I thought played good, not great. We had a poll on the channel last night, and it was overwhelmingly voted that Drew Lock played a better game than Geno Smith by a wide margin. I don't know if I as much agree with that poll, as I felt like Geno played really good and had some moments where he had two key drops, and that ball's hit up in the air by Marcus Simeon. Crawford will get underneath this for an easy play. To me, it's, Geno couldn't control the 2 drops he had, and George Fant had a play where it was a 20-yard throw where if George Fant just drags the second foot, he gets the first foot down, and if he just drags the second one, it's a big play and keeps the Mariner drive moving at that point. So I definitely think they both played good. I think Geno's getting a little bit of shade that's not necessarily deserved, as I think he played better than some of the fans are giving him credit for. The running backs were all great. They all just kept getting, one after the other one, kept getting better in their performance, and all of them were really good performances. The young receivers, Bo Melton and Derek Young, made some big catches in that game and looked good. The tackles on the outside, both Cross, who came out with a 72 grade by PFF, and Lucas looked really strong as well. 0-1 pitch here to Corey Seager, outside, 1-1. The young corners, Kobe had some ups and downs, gave up a touchdown reception. Your middle linebackers looked like hot garbage. The wind, 1-1, inside, 2-1. And Boy Mafe had 2 sacks, man, and he looked really good. He had 1 sack on a strip sack that looked just like Cliff Averill back in the day. Just like Cliff. 2-1 here to Corey Seager. Swing and a miss. Got him to chase out of the zone. Boy, these Rangers are doing Logan some favors at times today. When control doesn't seem quite there, they'll give him a swing and a miss. Logan into his wind. Here's delivery. Swing, hit hard into the gap, and this is going to get down for extra bases. So 1 out, double by Corey Seager. Good piece of hitting by him. He just went right with that pitch. Didn't try to do too much with it. See those that hit balls hard off Logan, it tends to be opposite field. Try not to turn it around. Just stay with the pitch. Logan, again, left that one right over the middle of the plate. And a guy like Corey Seager, you leave a ball over the middle of the plate. We've had a couple times in this game where the Mariners have had some balls in the middle of the plate, and they've missed them. And the Rangers, the few times that Logan has put it there in the middle, they have made him pay the price for doing so. Inside ball to Adolis Garcia. Ethan says that was such a good pitch to hit, so can't knock Santana too much. It wasn't the first pitch. Watch Visquest says tomorrow is the 10-year anniversary of King Felix's perfect game, I think. What a game that was. Felix was such a fun pitcher. So Gilbert's gone quickly 2-0 to Adolis Garcia. This is a little bit of a danger zone here, middle of the lineup, getting behind the hitter. And Garcia hits it hard, but foul. Got a pitch he could work with. Logan had to come back and get back in the zone, and Garcia really, really turned on that one. Osama Ben Diesel, best ace for the Mariners, Felix or Randy? Felix Hernandez. Or not Felix, Randy Johnson was the best ace. Obviously, Felix, I know. Felix had more of a longevity time here, and certainly Felix had to deal with the lack of run support that Randy didn't have to deal with. Randy had a lineup around him throughout his time here that was going to give him leads and give him opportunities to stack up those wins. But I think Randy is probably one of the top 5 most dominant pitchers over the last 30 years of baseball. Felix is probably one of the top 10 to 13. And I'm talking starting pitchers, not relievers. So still very good in his own right, but I think Johnson's just a little bit of a nudge ahead. Slightly better pure stuff. But it was a good game, Y2K. It was a good first preseason game. And I did mention tackling was awful as well. This ball's bounced up the middle. And an easy out. Seager will make his way to third, but we got 2 men out now. Wash Fisquez says Rasmussen lost the perfect game of the night, as well as the shutout. Brutal. It gets tight there. You get to the end, doesn't it? Those pitchers do get tight when they got that thing down to the wire. And then you always got to remember, if you got the starting pitcher out there at that point, right? Even if it's a perfect game, he's still now through the third time of the lineup, which is as we know, a bit of the danger zone for these starting pitchers. Nathaniel Lowe up to the plate here now. 2 men out. Low, ball 1. Ethan Techrold, Simeon really bailing out Logan. He is, yeah. He's helped him out a couple times in this game. 1-0 here. Logan looking in. Looks like they're going to try to get him on the inside plate here. And that's outside where he misses. Dangerous spot to miss there. But it is another ball, 2-0. He says that Logan found the zone too much there, yeah. So happens he gets 2-0, and then he's got to find too much of the plate. And now he's 3-0 to Low. Boy, I would almost, if I'm Logan here, just walk Low and get to the next batter. Low's a lefty. Get back into a more of a... You're down 3-0 here. When you've gotten behind in counts, you've grooved some pitches. I'd really think a little bit about just... Even here, I'd throw a slider. If you make it for a strike, you make it for a strike. But walk him otherwise. Swing and a miss. Nathaniel Lowe free swinging on 3-0. And swings out of the zone. Like I said, with these Rangers hitters today, they've been bailing Logan out in the respect of that ball should have been ball 4 if he's just taken. Three 3-1. High, ball 4. He does take there, so. Interesting. Fishquest says, was nice to see Drew Lock taking accountability for the sack last night, not reading the coverage. Last 2 or 3 years, nothing was ever Wilson's fault. Very good to see. I haven't seen Wilson in the last 5-6 years take accountability on a play like Lock took the accountability on the strict sack fumble. And it was actually nice for me to hear too, Washington Fishquest on my side of it, because people were pushing back on my chat saying, no, it's the running back's fault, or no, it's the tackle's fault. And I go, no. The moment there is Drew Lock's fault. And he confirmed that. And the reason being is you saw earlier on in that game with Lock that there would be times he come up to the line of scrimmage. He sees a blitz. He stops, adjusts the play, gets into the right protection, and then makes the call. All game he was doing that when he was in there, all game long. And this one moment then in this game, he got out for that last drive, and you could just see he was in a hurry to snap the ball. Maybe he was excited by the play, but he was in a hurry to snap it. He didn't take the time to notice that blindside blitzer coming, and I do put that on him. The quarterback's got to have the control there to be recognizing that a little bit better in that moment. Know where your hot route is or adjust your protections, one of those two. All right, Logan comes up now, gets a first pitch swing here from Valoria. And again, the Rangers lineup continues to help out Logan at times when he gets himself into trouble and seems like he's really scuffling. That ball was easily 3 to 4 inches off the plate, and he gets a foul on it. Thank you, Texas. Appreciate you. Appreciate you helping our guy out today. Pitcher, runner going, swing and a miss. Catcher indifference. He's not even going to throw it down there to second. And that will be now 0-2. So if Logan can just get strikeout here, he can get himself out of trouble with no runs. Y2K, Logan's second half has been a little rough. It has been. That ball's in the dirt, and that's going to score a runner. Just overthrew the slider, trying to get the strikeout. And I don't think Cal Raleigh even gets that in that moment. That was a wildly thrown slider there. That thing landed a good foot in front of the plate where it first went off. Logan just overthrowing it there. Just doesn't have a feel today, you know? He just doesn't have that feel, and he's trying to find it. But it's just been a bit sloppy around the edges. And it has been a little real rough in the second half. Swing and a miss. Gets him to swing on the slider, and boy, you would have loved to see that on the previous pitch. So the Rangers will get a runner on the wild pitch by Logan Gilbert, which will make this game 3-2. See if our Mariner batters can answer back. Stephen Cottrell says, what in the hell are these calls? There have been some bad ones in this game. Ethan says, yeah, I mean, Gilbert has been struggling the last month, but at the same time, had to face the Astros and Yankees in all 4 of his starts. It's true. It's true. As someone says here, this isn't the Yankees lineup here, though. That's for sure. And I do think some of his issues aren't necessarily going up against tough batters and guys are just putting good swings on tough pitches. It really comes down to Logan, in my opinion, with just the wildness factor. He just can't control his pitches in the zone, and he's not able to have, like with the slider today, there's just certain times where certain pitches in his arsenal he just can't hit the zone with it. And that's the part where, to me, it's beyond simply them just playing tough teams. And maybe he's being a little more careful against those tough teams, which would be to your point on that. But at the same point in time, we're seeing in the game like this against the Rangers, those same kind of just missing the spots, not able to get on top of hitters, always kind of behind on counts a little bit. Just scuffling. Just a little scuffle. Seahawks 12 says, I think Marco should get more velocity and movement on some of his pitches, or I think we should send him down until he's comfortable. Well, I definitely wouldn't mind looking at somebody else in this lineup or in the starting rotation over Marco, that's for sure. I was a little bit surprised when I was hearing they were going to move Flex into the pen rather than Marco, though after you thought about it a little bit more, it made a little more sense because you feel you're getting some more consistency from Flex into the pen versus Marco, who's completely seemingly hit or miss start to start. When he's on, he's on. When he's off, he's off. And there's no way for him to find himself a little bit if he is completely off. So I'm definitely worried with where Marco is right now and some of what we're seeing from him on the recent starts. And they did get that guy at the trade deadline. I don't know where he is as far as the starter that I think they got as much for that insurance point. All right, Mariners, see if they can answer here. They were able to last time answer when they got down. Very resilient team, of course. They've had Perez work through quite a bit of this game. Hopefully maybe they can get a little bit more deeper into it as we move on. Maybe get in this bullpen a bit of the Rangers. Osama Ben Diesel, best Mariner GM, Jerry DiPoto or Pat Gillick? Jerry, Woody, or Pat Gillick? And Crawford with a stand-up double to finish things, start things off right. Maybe Crawford's bat starting to heat up a little bit here. Bangs it right down the line for a nice stand-up, almost a stand-up double. Great job by Crawford. Second hit of the game. Boy, we need his bat coming back alive like it is. It's good to see. All right, we're working with something here to start this inning. Question now comes into the point, though, as you go into more of the depths of this lineup here in this order in this inning. Do you come up and now bunt this in the 6th? Or do you let him swing away? Interesting call here because you have Haggerty at the plate. Haggerty is going to bunt, and I love the call. Even with a hot bat like Haggerty, I love the call. And that will move Crawford over. Great job of bunting by Haggerty. You're getting very close to being able to get into your dominant side of your bullpen here. And yeah, Logan struggled, but if Logan even gets you through one more inning, you feel like you can shut the rest of this game down, and you trust your lineup through 3 innings to still be able to get another run beyond this run if, of course, now Casale can make it stand here. So we'll see what Kurt's got, see if he's got ability to put through, make this stand up. But a great job by Haggerty to bunt Crawford over. Casale 0 for 1 with a walk in this game. First pitch swinging, knocks it back. Foul, 0-1. So I think Osama bin Diesel, I was thinking on your question because it's a tough one to answer, but I think I would go back to Pat Gillick. The job that you did in order to be able to put a team together that had the most wins in baseball history. Baseball's been around 120 years or something, 130 years, and you had more wins in a season than any major league club that has ever come around. And he did that on the back of after moving a Ken Griffey Jr., after losing an Alex Rodriguez, after losing a Randy Johnson. He re-put that all together on the back of losing three of the best players in this franchise's history. And that to me is more impressive even than what those other two guys did. And that ball's hit hard down the line, but it's going to be foul. And we got Kurt in a 1-2 count here. Good swing on it. Just got a little bit out ahead. Probably threw him that change there, huh? No, the cutter. Threw him the cutter. So I will go with Pat. That was just so impressive what he did in 2001. And it was a constructed team. The way he put the outfield defense together, bringing Ichiro in, getting Brett Boone in there, the rotation that he put together. Strike three. Casali takes right at the knees. Great pitch by Perez. You got to swing at that ball. And that's tough. You got to swing at that. That's borderline in. I don't know what he was looking for. It's a good pitch. It's again that cutter. But heck, he just took that cutter foul on a line in the previous pitch. So he was looking for it on the previous one. All right, Dylan Moore up to the plate. Moore's got a walk in this game. First pitch swing again. Moore's had three pitches dead center of the plate that Perez has given him in this game. Three of them in three different at-bats. Right down the middle, right there as meaty as it comes. And Dylan just can't do anything with it. He fouls it off or he swings through it. If you look to why he's hitting 192 this year, this is the reasons why. You get a pitch to hit in the zone, you got to hit that pitch. And he's then hit with the... Perez hits him in the leg, and he will get first base now on that. And this will turn this over for Julio. Wow, that's a big hits Batman here to give now Julio a chance with two runners on. But, again, looking for where Dylan struggles, that's the spot. That's why you're struggling. When you get your pitches to hit, Major League pitchers aren't going to give you 5 pitches in a bat to hit. You might get 1, you might get 2 if you're lucky. And you've got to do something with it when you can. And you've had 3 at-bats, 3 of those pitches in a game, and you can't do anything with those pitches. This is a little bit like somebody asked earlier, like Y2K, you said why I didn't like it as much with him, and that's kind of my with me on that, you know. Kim Jong-un says, sad I can't watch games live. Appreciate the commentary. Well, thank you, man. That's what I'm here for. If you guys can't catch it, I know sometimes the blackouts, and this is not showing in this one. I can't get to this, and there's some streams you aren't able to find. They're usually available, but I'm here for you guys when you can. Seahawks 12 man, doesn't Cal Raleigh have the most home runs as a catcher right now? He does. Leading Major League Baseball for catchers as far as home runs. And I'd reckon to guess as well, Seahawks 12th man, he's right there near the lead as well in doubles. So he gives you as good a power numbers from the catcher position as any team in baseball this season. Hard position to get that kind of power from. Julio steps up to the plate now. Had a hard struck ball in the first. Almost beat out a ground ball in then the second bat and the third bat. Another fly out into center field. So he's stayed with Perez here. And first pitch swinging on the ground. It's going to be missed thrown ball, and that will score one. So the Rangers defense biting them on the ass today a couple different times. A lazy little ground ball to third base. Pretty routine play. Obviously, Julio was firing out of the box. He wanted to try to run that out, and he almost got one run out earlier in this game. I mean, he really got out of the box quick. It's the shortstop who got it. Shortstop kind of tried to get the ball out quick rather than maybe getting a throw that was a little bit more of let me make sure I can really whistle this in there with some RPMs. He kind of did that thing where they'll pick up the ball and just kind of do a flick throw over to the side, and those can be good if you've got a runner that's not fast. But then I feel like he might have rushed it a little bit. Poor throw. Allows the Mariners to get a score here, 3-3, tie France, runners on first and third. I'll take it. I don't care. I'll take it. By any means necessary. And that's 1-0 now to tie. Takes inside ball. Rob Terrell says, I've got one thing to say. Bats need hats. And they do. Seahawks 12th man, who's your favorite Julio Rodriguez home run this year? Against the Padres was mine where he hit the third deck. Is that where he hit the... isn't that the one where Seahawks 12th man, he hit the building? If it's the one where he hit the building, then I'm the same. 1-0 pitch here. Strike. Looked a little high. France didn't like it. He kind of steps out of the box with some body language like, that wasn't it, Blue. That wasn't it. Just a little bit out of the zone there, but I'd be taking I was tie on that pitch too. That wasn't a strike. Ty with 14 home runs on the year. Last year he had a career high with 18. See if he can juice one up here. Got a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, kind of up and in the middle. Just fouled it off. Like he kind of was dead set on going with that pitch a little bit. And if he had maybe tried to yank it instead there, he could have maybe done something with it. Ham is served. Great call. Thank you. All right, JP 1-2, tie 1-2, batted foul, stays alive there, just foul down the left third base side. Rob Terrell says small ball. I love it. Me too. I love me some small ball. When you got great starting pitching and a great bullpen, you should be a team that leans into small ball as you can. I know the analytics stat nerds hate it. I know they do. But I don't hate it as much when you have a team constructed like ours. If you were more constructed to the modern designs of a major league team, I might be more of, well, you shouldn't do it for this kind of club. But with the team you have constructed, with the ballpark you normally play in, I am very much pro small ball with these Mariners. 1-2 now for Perez. Come on, Ty. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Right through it. Tough. Well, Perez has pitched a pretty good game here. You got to give him credit. He's got 2 runs given up to him in this game that were on errors, not his fault. And he has definitely made it hard on this Mariner team today. Yeah, the Dylan Moore hit, look, that didn't look like that felt good. Moore was hit on like the back right calf. So there's definitely going to be a bit of a bruise there. But, that hurts. You get hit in the calf. It's like kind of an underrated, painful place, isn't it? It's not like getting smacked in the groin, but if you get hit hard in the calf, like it hurts. Every time you walk and step, it kind of pisses. It definitely looked like it stung a bit. Y2K says, my girlfriend is from the Dominican Republic and her dad lives there and loves baseball. I was thinking about getting him a signed Edgar jersey for Christmas. Good plan? Yeah, 100%. I mean, Edgar's got to be kind of a legend down there, right? 100%. Boy, does the Dominican Republic kick out a lot of players, too. Libra Dragon says Julio's due. He was due on that one. Just couldn't. He at least, that's where his speed comes into play because it's going to rush a fielder to get the throw off, 1 sec, folks. Oh, here we go. All right, tied back up. Okay, Logan, like your team's helping you out here now today. Let's lock in here. 80 pitches in this game. Nice. First pitch knocked right up in the air. It's like Dylan Moore's underneath it there. Out number 1. That'll do. First pitch strike, that'll do. You can tech roll these too fast. Right down the middle, Ty. Come on. Station to station, says Skyler. Yeah, a little station to station this game. Rob, damn. Should have gotten him a live chicken. Yeah, we should have done the live chicken. Should have done the live chicken. Or what's the thing in Bull Durham he was hitting him with the rosary beads? Got to tap a little bit of the rosary beads on the bat maybe next time. All right, 81 pitches here for Gilbert. One man down here in the top of the 6th. Love to see Gilbert get through a couple more innings here. If he can get this Ranger team retired in order here, he's then going to face the 9th man in the order in the bottom of the 7th. Logan stepping off here, not comfortable. In tech world, Logan's slider versus the lefties has been pretty good today. It is, he's getting swings and misses with it, and that ball's hit up in the air. Haggerty's got an easy play out there in left field, and that will be quickly 2 down. Boy, just what the doctor ordered for Gilbert here. Don't mess around with the bottom of the lineup. I guess the sacrifice, the chicken thing, Rob, that was Major League, wasn't it? I'm confusing my movies now. Wasn't the sacrifice the chicken the Major League? Seahawks 12th man. The Royals about to end the Dodgers 12-game win streak. Dodgers looking tough. Boy, they are. All right. Batter showing bunt, throwing a little high, and Gilbert's got 5 groundouts, 8 flyouts, and 4 strikeouts in this game. So a nice little mix there. Skylar Thomas says Gilbert's eating grapes this inning. Nice. That's a nice vague reference, by the way, to the Johnny Depp film of the 90s. Very, very, very vague reference there, Skylar. I love it, though. Hit up on the hands, straight up. Gilbert's like, Casali, get on it. And Casali's like, look, it's out of play. What do you want, man? It's late in the season. Don't make me do one of those mock run, catcher runs for foul balls that are far out of play just to make you feel better. I'm not getting to it. Bubba Thompson got himself into a 1-2 count here. Close him down, Logan. Shut this show down this inning. Lock back in. One-two pitch. Ooh, strike 3. He got the call. You better believe you better get that call. Right there on the outside part of the plate, and by far the best inning of work for Logan Gilbert so far. Great to see him kind of turn that around that inning, as it's just most of these innings have been kind of scuffling a little bit. Just trying to fight yourself through, trying to get your feel for the zone. And just a beautiful pitch. 7 pitch innings, says Stephen Cottrell. Gilbert do that every inning. Yeah, that was a great. That gets him through this inning, gets you to the next inning. You start now the next inning with the bottom of the lineup. And also puts this Mariner team in a position of only having to go through that top to middle of the lineup one more time through the course of this game. Sort of sets you up for a 9th inning then, where now you're into more of the middle to bottom. Libra Dragon says grapes, laughing out loud. Oh, I love that reference. He was eating grapes. Robert Terrell says Munoz equals Wild Thing. Yeah, he'd be the Wild. I don't know. Munoz would, because he's got the fastball, but doesn't Castillo got a little bit of the Wild Thing kind of vibe though to him? A little more of that. But I could see Munoz too. Stephen Cottrell says Gilbert needs to make the Rangers eat his grapes. That'd be a power move. Logan Gilbert is the 99th percentile for extension on StatCast. He's so long. Those arms are so long, and he's a big guy. And it's that thing where when he's releasing the ball, he's a little bit further towards and closer to the plate with where the ball releases out of his hand than normal pitchers. This is something you used to see with Randy Johnson a lot too, by the nature of Randy Johnson's 6'10" frame and long arms. He's pumping in these 99, 100-mile-an-hour fastballs, but he's also doing it on the back of when he's releasing it, he's probably releasing it, what can we say with Randy on that? 5-6 inches closer to the plate, maybe potentially than your average pitcher of that time. Logan very much in a similar place in what he's doing. And it just makes that fastball, makes those breaking pitches that much harder to then pick up. And it's part of a real centerpiece point to look at with Logan into the future, why he could remain dominant as a starting pitcher and that he can become an ace, one of the aces in the starting rotation, because that's a skill set that will continue to carry forward. Joe Biden's Make-A-Wish, did you watch the Field of Dreams game? Do you think they should keep doing it? I didn't get a chance to watch all of it. I certainly got the goosebumps when you had Ken Griffey Jr. and his dad, and he asked his dad, it was very much scripted, and I'm sure from some of your standpoints it was cheesy. Griffey's one of my guys growing up, so that was going to hit me in the feels big time when I saw it. Mitch Haniger up now, takes 1-0, and the Texas Rangers have made a change of their pitcher. Josh Boers is in the game. He's not had the greatest of seasons so far for this Ranger team. Mariners are going to be running up the middle of their own order here. See if they can do some damage. And Haniger now hitting 297 on the season. Good to see his average up at 297, isn't it? That looks more right for Mitchie. The hangman. And the Texas pitcher, looks like there's some problem with the catcher's glove. Some point or another is broken out, so he needs a replacement mitt. So can you cut this off? Thank you. It's bothering me. Yeah, Boers playing some Perez. Nice to get Perez out of the game. He pitched a hell of a game against your Mariners today. They just weren't able to do much with him, and they pressed him. They made it uncomfortable for him. They took some pitches. He just did a really good job of when he needed to make a pitch, he made it. And that ball is low. Nice eye by Mitch. Gets this 2-0 now. Let's see if he can find a pitch here that's in his zone that he can work with a little bit. And Boers needs to shave that mustache. It's discolored, like it's got a vomit color to it. And it's got that sort of pedo thin wispiness to it that I don't like. The stash has got to go. Or go full. That's got to go, buddy. Not a good look. 3-0 here now to Mitch. See if he's taken here or he's got the green light. And Lieber, I'm so glad I have Mitch back too. Goodness. 3-0 looks low, but the umpire's going to call a strike. Oh, this ump. And Scott's like, give me an effing break. Umpire just bails him out on that pitch. That thing was at the tops of his ankles. No way that's a strike. (3-1). Fouled off, 3-2. So I didn't get a chance to watch the Field of Dreams game, but I would hope that they can keep doing it. I think it's a great thing for baseball. There's been few real marketing moves baseball has done over the last 10 to 20 years that I've been like, that's a good move. That's a smart way to go. That's like you do see sometimes with basketball and football and the way that they market their sports. I think the Field of Dreams is one of those situations where it's just, no pun intended, they knocked it out of the park with that. And they should do it every year, and I'd love to see our Mariners be able to play out there in a game. Haniger is able to hold up on a tough pitch there. Good job of holding up. That pitch is in the same place as the bad strike call from a couple pitches ago. It's a ball. Don't swing at it. You ain't doing anything with it. And if the ump's going to call two of them back to back in that same spot, and he's going to mess up his own calls with that, let him go do that. So great job by Mitchie, who continues to look locked in since returning back from the DL. How nice to have this opening runner on here with nobody out in the top of the seventh inning. Eugenio Suarez is up at the plate. Swings, and what a weird swing and miss on that pitch. Can you just walk the guy? Maybe take a pitch there. You need a run. I don't know. I know you're a swinger, free swinger. Skylar Thomas, Field of Dreams, PR team dropped the ball, so to speak, by not having Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker having a father-son catch after coming onto the cornfield as a homage to James Earl Jones. If you could get James Earl Jones out there with Mark Hamill, then I'm in favor of it. But they did pretty good with Griffey Jr. and Griffey Sr. That was pretty cool. Steven Cottrell, Suarez home run time. Well, he's been known to hit him at very key moments, hasn't he? He has a flair for the dramatics, does Eugenio. When the man is as cool a first name as Eugenio, I would expect that. 1-1 pitch. They're going to attack him high in the zone here. And he doesn't swing, but they do call strike. Suarez was probably looking low there. Got a little bit surprised by it being up high. That's what it looked like on his swing. One, two. Outside. Good job of taking there by Suarez. Swung earlier at that pitch in a similar place in this at-bat. He gets it to 2-2. Suarez will swing for free swing early in bat. He can always seemingly get himself at least back to 2-2. Y2K says, Mitch, such a professional at bat. I do feel we have lots of bats that play up in the playoffs. I think Frazier can actually play up a lot because he can make contact versus elite pitching. And you're right. Frazier is a guy, as Seahawks 12th man says below. You know, Frazier is a guy that rarely strikes out. Kind of one of the few guys you have in this lineup that swing to contact. And tough pitch there that Suarez fights off. That had a lot of movement, was in the zone. He's had a couple of those pitches in this at-bat that have swung across the plate and far outside, one of which that he swung at. That one was going to probably be right there. He's got to protect. Great job by Eugenio. Mitch Haniger on first, 2-2 count. The Borg is up at the pitching against the Mariners. High, 99 mile an hour on the gun. He dialed that one up. 3-2. Leaned on some of that strawberry mustache strength there to get that thing up. Good vibes only, Skyler. That's right. 3-2. Does Haniger go here? Nobody out? Probably not. Great pitch. Absolutely a phenomenal pitch there by Borg. Suarez doesn't like it, but that was good. That was good. Looked like a slider there, just went right. Just a nasty pitch. That's a nasty pitch on Suarez. It doesn't look like it's going to be anywhere near the zone. Thing is heading at his elbow and somehow finds a way back across the plate. I really can't fault Suarez on that. That's just a really great curveball there by Borg. Great pitch at a moment you need it there. And that's been with Borg and with the first pitcher that was in there, the same thing, Perez, same thing that you saw with him. Just when they need a pitch, when they get to 3-2, when the hitter's fouled off a tough pitch or two, they somehow find a way to get back in the zone on a perfect pitch, perfect location. Santana takes a first pitch strike here high. Santana is 0 for 3 in this game. Switching around to the left-hand side of the plate now. Rangers will employ a Uber shift with Seager right near the second base bag. Oh, 1. One and one. Seahawks 12th man could have had a walk if he didn't swing at that first pitch. So where it is with Eugenio is that he doesn't do as much free swinging deeper into the accounts as much, but boy, does he get free swinging when it comes to early in the counts. And a lot of times at his detriment, where he ends up swinging just out of the zone on them. 1-1. And Santana swung at a slider there that was going to be a ball. Slider, he's got a kind of a whipping curve, doesn't he? Yeah, that was a curve. That curve just kind of has some snap and whip to it. These pitchers now sometimes throw their curves that are sort of just their slider curves hybrids, how they look. 1-2 here to Carlos. Megan says, hey, just woke up and had coffee in hand. Well, I'm right with you, Megan. We got an early game today, so. High, ball 2, 2-2. Haggerty on first. Oh, I know what you meant on that Seahawks 12, man. Yeah, you could have had a walk there. It's good to see you there, Megan. Suarez could have easily had 30-plus home runs this season. He could. He's kind of that guy. Ball 3, so the second straight 3-2 count here. The Mariner batter has been able to draw here. Three and two. Big Country said, I did not expect him to have 40 plus like he did in Cincy, but 30 to 35 is doable. Yeah, you're going to go from that bandbox to the Mariners ballpark, especially the Mariner ballpark, the way it really does knock down the right-handed power hitters. It's going to reduce your numbers by a good 5-6 home runs a year if you're a true power 35 home run type guy. So I agree, 30-35 is about right. Payoff pitch is knocked back. That was going to be ball 4 there. I mean, it was reasonably close, but definitely out of the zone. Santana able to get the bat on the ball. All right, so similar situation here in the last at bat. Boys worked in a curveball to Suarez. Let's see if he tries to come back with another curveball here. Last pitch was a fastball. Santana was kind of on it. If I'm Boers here, I'm coming back curve. Fastball right at the knees. Second straight Mariner hitter takes. And I'm sure Santana was in the same position I was in that moment where you're looking curve. You know he threw a curve to Santana last bat. Similar situation. You were just on the fastball. Instead, he comes right back with a fastball at the knees. Great pitch. You got to swing at that, though. I know he's probably amped up on that curve there. Tough. Megan's, what's the score? Where are we up to? 3-3 Mariners. Back and forth game. Rangers have had some sloppy defense. Logan, our starting pitcher, has had a hard time at moments in finding his own. And Crawford, first pitch swing, he knocks the ball on the ground to second baseman for the third out of the inning. So we will go into the middle of the seventh. Seventh inning stretch time, folks. Mariners find themselves here tied up. So starting pitcher's been kind of up and down today a little bit, Megan, just not able to find his zone exactly. Mariner bats have been okay, but definitely benefited from a couple of errors by the Rangers to get their runs. Megan says, still getting over the severe 5-day migraine, so I'm dealing with the dreaded migraine fog. Yikes. Sorry to hear that. We'll hang in there. Y2KHA says, I'm calling Sam Haggerty home run next at bat. Well, you can't hold down Haggerty. You can't stop Haggerty. You can only hope to contain him. And indeed, even the Rangers in this game have yet to contain him. Got a base hit, sacrifice, bunt, stolen base, I think. He's a machine. He's the Haggerty machine. Y2KHA says, I read an article on Winker a while back when he had like 8 home runs. We changed baseballs and he switched parks. He could have handled one, but not both. It's like he lost 10 home runs at that point. A little bit, though. I mean, Y2K, it definitely his power numbers are a little bit down. If you're talking about him ending up, though, like I said, if you're you got a hitter that goes from one park that's a bandbox, I mean, one of the smaller parks in all Major League Baseball, where it's easier to hit a home run, and you're going to one of the more, huge ballparks that plays a lot even bigger than its large confines. Doesn't matter whether to me right-handed, left-handed hitter. I'm going to lose probably a handful of home runs over the course of a season in that kind of environment. And Winker this year is going to be significantly down from that. He's going to be probably at like 11, 12, 13 home runs of the year. So he's allowed 11 off of what he was last year. But to me, it also speaks a little bit more beyond Winker losing some power numbers. He's lost his batting average. I mean, he's hitting, 225 or something right now? He's a guy that's a 275 career hitter. I mean, last year he was hitting 300. What's the reasoning for that? And that's the part for me that You know, I can't make, he's been one of the more confusing hitters this year. Dylan Moore hits 195. I don't have high expectations for Dylan Moore. Same thing you could say for Kellenic, but to see him struggle this way has been very surprising. I thought we'd at least get a 275 guy, draws the walks and gives you that occasional power, and it hasn't been there for him. Ethan says they should just walk Swaggerty, right? Like they can't handle the drip. They can't handle the drip. It's too drippy. And they better know not to play. They're going to mess. He might hit one out. Where are they playing, Megan? They are in Texas. Was it not Houston, but Dallas, right? Basically Dallas. Oh, is it Houston they're in? So the Astros and the Rangers play in the same city? I guess I'd always thought it was somewhere else. Doesn't make sense. It's a big city. They can handle it. Seahawks 12th man. Let's take the time to talk about Eric Swanson, though. 1.01 ERA. Boy, he's been nails every time he's in. He doesn't even do that thing where he'll struggle and mess around. He just comes in and gets the outs. He has been great. Megan says, oh, I'm so torn out. My grandkid's pop is from Houston. Well, they might be Astro fans, though, Megan, because there's Houston Astros, too. So it's not a guarantee they're Ranger fans. And they're showing a graph here on the channel here. All of the hits on Gilbert today that were hard hit were all center of the plate. So Matt Brash is going to come in for Logan Gilbert now. Mariners he goes 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. Didn't have his best stuff today, but really gutted through. And that ball's hit on a line right to Crawford, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Brash has been a lot better as of recent since when he's come in out of the bullpen for the most part. But Gilbert, overall a good day. You know, he had to fight through. Didn't have his best stuff, but he was able to keep, 3 runs through 5 innings is not bad work. So good job on his part overall, especially understanding, again, didn't have his best stuff. Let's see if this Mariner bullpen can hold this up now for the next 3 innings. And see if the Mariner lineup can just get one more meager run, and we might be able to close this thing up and kill this series off. Strike on the inside part of the plate. 0-1. Noah's Mega says they are Astro fans, and Noah's an M's fan. Well, there you go. So you don't be torn. You don't be torn on this one. Arlington, Texas is right across from Jerry's World. Okay. I've actually never been to Texas. It's one of the few states I haven't. Actually, there's been a lot of states I haven't been to, but that's at least on the Midwest to West side. 1-1 here to Marcus Semien as the Rangers lineup turns over. Y2K says fly ball rate, launch angle for Winker. Winker's fly ball weight is way higher than his career norm, which is why I believe his average is down. Very well said. Very well said. And I wasn't aware where his launch angle was, but that does fit to a little bit of what I see from an eye test with him, which is that he's got way too much of an uppercut swing for his limited power. He doesn't have that kind of ability to just be able to drive the ball. He's got to get that swing into a place where it's a little bit more of a level swing. And that's what I do come back to with it, where it's like, the problem here is a little bit too much of the lifting the ball. It's a little bit too much of I'm going to swing from the back of my heels like I'm a 30 home run guy, when really I'm more of a guy that should be operating like you see he should be a little more trying to lean into becoming the equivalent of like what you get from Haniger on the right side. 2-2 here from Matt Brash. Swing hit hard right at Suarez. He picks a real tough part. That's why they call it the hot corner, folks. It's going to be 120 degrees on that corner sometimes, and that ball was hit on a line. Suarez was right on it. Boy, he made this play look a lot easier while he's blowing a bubble of bubble gum. He makes the play. Boy, he made that look way easier. That's coming usually in on a tough hop, and he's got to backhand it to his right. He made that look really, really easy, and it is not. So here's trouble now. You got Corey Seager up to the plate for the lefty. He does kill right-handed pitching. Strike one. Slider there by Brash. And even though Brash does get it up there on the gun, they're still going to go ahead and run out that Uber shift here for Corey. 0-1 now. Low. Umpire has at times called that a strike in this game. Y2K says, imagine if Brash can control and be a starter next year. What a rotation. Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. I kind of like him either way. I still do like going forward the thought process of having the dominating starting rotation and the dominating bullpen. And that should be something that we sort of seek to try to, as this team builds to what it's going to be, continually making that a bit of the onus for how you build the roster. Brash throws a real wide swinging slider. Corey holds up. 2-1. Kind of with Big Country a little bit on this Y2K where I'm okay if they want to be open to moving into the bullpen, but I also am kind of open to, they just want to run him out as the long relief arm or your future stopper, and he gets a swing and a miss on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball outside part of the plate. Great pitch there by Brash. Part of me kind of likes him in maybe that bullpen long role as you go forward. Once again, it's one of those things as we continue to say at this Mariner team. It's a good problem to have. Swing and knocked on the ground. This will swing foul around the first base side there. Got a tough swing on Corey there. Did Brash. Libra Dragon says Suarez has been tough this year on the hot corner. He really has. He really has. He's giving you some great defense over there. He does a good job, too, on tracking down fall bow, and really covering a lot of distance. He's a good player, Suarez is. Y2K, the bubblegum blow while picking it up was awesome. It is. Whenever they do that, I'm always astounded. I could never do that in baseball. If I was in the middle of blowing a bubble, I didn't do much chewing gum anyway, though. I was more of a sunflower seeds guy. Kept the mouth a little more busier. Libra Dragon says, I like bullpen Brash. I do too. That's a hell of a nickname too. 3-2 pitch here to Corey. 2 men out. Swung and hit hard. Good piece of Corey. Corey got a couple of nice hits in this game. Haggerty up with it. He's going to throw it, but he will get into second base. Haggerty struggled a little bit to come up with that ball, which gave Seager a little bit of time to get over into second base. So the winning run right now on second. It was a good pitch by Brash. Hit the outside part of the plate with that slider. This is what makes Corey such a good hitter. Just went with the pitch. Didn't try to do too much with it. As we saw in his last at bat when he knocked a double into the gap. He's really the one big problem in this lineup for this Ranger ball club for our Mariners. It's a tough play, Big Country. It was for Haggerty there. And this will bring out pitching coach here to talk Brash about how they're going to look at dealing with this. And somebody mentioned Swanson. He is up in the pen. Come on, Brash. You got 2 outs here. Big Country says, I'm not sure there's room for Brash to be a starter. There might not be. And usually once you make the transition from starter to bullpen, you do as a major league player remain in the bullpen at that point. Big Country says, thank goodness Winker wasn't in left field right there. Yeah, that would have been trouble for Wink. He would have already been running for the wall. He wouldn't even been trying to cut it off. And it would do that like gentle bounce off the wall because it took so long to get there. Adolis Garcia up to the plate now, hitting 252 on the air. Righty on righty matchup. Nice pitch by Brash. Doesn't get the call in the bottom outside portion of the zone. Good pitch. 1-0. Mega says, so is what I'm seeing with the Royals true? They beat the Dodgers? They did indeed. Snap their winning streak. And that is a strike there outside part of the plate. 1-1. Oh, my God. To the backstop and back. Couple of wild pitches from your Mariners here today. That was not anywhere close. Just must have slipped out of his hand, I guess. And he wants a new ball, understandably. Probably got a little slippery there. That thing was... Threw it so hard it bounced back to the pitcher. Hit the backstop and then came back to the pitcher. Just a bit outside, as Bob Uecker would say. 2-1 pitch. Hit hard, base hit. This will score the run, and the Mariners are down 4-3. The middle of the lineup gets you. Just can't stay away out of it, and then they got you here today on it. Middle of the order has been pretty good for this Ranger team today. They've done the work. Bottom of the order hasn't done nothing really. Well, it's been horrible, but this is where they're getting. You get them, catch them at the bad time. Goodness gracious. Brash just couldn't hold it down. All right, 2 outs. Mariners down 3-4 here. And it looks like the Mariners are going to make a pitching change, which I would too at this point. You had one job. You got 2 quick outs. 2 quick outs, and then Seager made the great hit on him, pitch on him there, and it wasn't a horrible pitch in there to Adolis. Just, and you got to wonder if that wild pitch hadn't occurred and he hits that base hit out there. If not, maybe Julio's able to maybe make a play on Seager at the plate because it was a pretty hard struck ball. My 2 cases, I should get one more beer, just one more. Seahawks 12th man, hey, let's not panic. If I'm correct, wasn't Julio up for our next inning? I believe that sounds right. Yeah. That does sound right. And when they're pitching change to the Mariners, I'm going to get a little bit of a drink of water here, so bear with me. So the Dulles is going to steal the base as we turn to action here on the first pitch, and that will be an 0-1 strike. He just had a great jump on that play. Casali, I think even if he had gotten the throw more accurate than where he put it, I think he still steals that base. But another runner in scoring position now. 2 men out. Nathaniel Lowe at the plate. You got the lefty-righty matchup going here. Lowe 1 for 2 with a walk, a double, a stolen base, and a run. Hit high into the air. Is this going to be trouble? It is over Haggerty's head. That ball will bounce around and score another Texas Ranger run. And they're going to call it a ground rule double. And Haggerty looked like he had a line on it. Looked like he misjudged a little bit where he didn't quite get on his horse like he needed to be for where that ball was. It sort of looked like he had to kind of track the whole way. And then the ball seemed to kind of carry a little extra few feet on him. Just kind of didn't early on track that quite right. Sort of just mistimed it just a bit. Just a little bit. Probably should have had that. Got to give the Rangers credit in this game, though, against hard pitching, against the hard throwing pitchers of the Mariners, doing what you want to do against those guys, which is just go with it. Don't try to do too much with the pitch. I mean, then that went the same way. Don't do too much with it. Just get the good part of the bat of the ball. Stay with it. Go oppo at times. You're not going to be able to turn it around on these guys, and they definitely are doing that. Ethan says, really need to win this because we face Ohtani tomorrow. We do. It's going to be a tough matchup tomorrow. You just want to get it for a series win, if anything. But, boy, you've made it hard. It's hard getting runs right now, and now you're down by 2 runs. And that'll be 1-2. Dezilla Hawk to clarify, Mariners looking ugly. Wu-Tang Financial, this is ugly. A little bit. 1-2 now. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. So third out of the inning, but damage has been done. Rangers are able to put 2 runs up on the board, go into the top of the 8th now. Mariners will try to see if they can carve a couple of runs out here. They do get to turn over this order here into this inning. Probably going to see, I would reckon, Cal Raleigh pinch hitting for Caselli here. At least I would be looking at making that move. Coaxial 5, Cross looked so good last night. He did. Real good. 72 grade by PFF, too. So the grade matches what the eye test was telling us. Haven't had a chance yet to look into some of the other grades and scores in that game. I'd like to see what Lucas did as well. Rob Terrell says, when it rains, it pours. It does. Seahawks 12th man says, let's get it started. Ain't over yet, man. Ain't over yet. We got 6 outs to play with here. The top of our lineup, middle of our lineup is going to be able to have a chance to match what the Rangers did. And that's right. We got the swag man starting it off. When Ham Swaggerty's dripping with all that swag at the plate and he's leading off an inning, you know good things are just about to happen. He's going to make up for that fielding snafu. Seahawks 12th man, Swanson's ERA is now exactly 1. Does technically go down in that inning, right? Because he doesn't get the responsibility for the runner, so. And he didn't do that wasn't a bad pitch on his part. Lowe is a good hitter, and Lowe just stuck that bat out, and he maybe got a little high than you'd like, but Lowe just took it out opposite field. Megan says, disappointed you didn't wear the Largent jersey of power yesterday, B. No, as I tell you, Megan, you can't waste that power on meaningless games. It's got to be for when you need it. I don't need it on the first preseason game of the season. I need it when I'm in a playoff game. I need it when I'm playing for a win I got to have in the game in the year. I can't use it for meaningless stuff, or the power of the Largent jersey wears off over time at that point. It erodes. You got to keep it strong and vibrant and glowing, and you do that by only the important moments. MSR Roque Brandon just had something to say about the Hawks. I think people forget Trey Brown. I think if he comes back healthy, he easily starts. He was good last year in limited action. So Haggerty up the plate here. First pitch strike right at the knees. Very nice pitch there. Looks like Boers is still in the game, throwing for the Rangers. And indeed, Cal Raleigh is going to be pitch hitting after Haggerty. Strike! Sam right through that pitch. Gnarly slider. Seattle's had a couple of swings and misses on pitches today that have been in the dirt on sliders, just with so much crazy amount of movement to him. Quickly finds himself 0-2. Well, I shouldn't have talked about the strawberry mustache of one Mr. Boers, because he's actually coming in here dealing here out the jump. The pitch, swing and a miss. Another gnarly slider there, swinging right across the plate, ending up on the inside portion of his hands. for strike 3, and we have 1 man away. Trey Brown has definitely had as impressive a rookie go for your Seahawks as any rookie in the last 10 years, MSR Rook. So that could happen. It does a little bit depend on where he's at on his rehab back from that pretty major surgery that he had. The other thing with him is that he is a little bit of a smaller guy versus what you get out there at Sidney Jones or Kobe Bryant or Artie Burns or Tariq Woolen on the outside. And Carroll does tend to prefer, in his time in Seattle, more of the guys that are a little more lengthier over there. Cal Raleigh steps up at the plate now. Pinch hitting for Kurt Casale. Takes a 97-mile-an-hour fastball at the knees. Boers is really dealing here. He looks comfortable. He's hitting his spots. High, ball 1. So I do like Trey's skill set. Don't get me wrong on an MSR Rook, and I can see him potentially winning the job. I think he has a little more of an uphill battle to get the job this year, where last year, I think when he was coming in there, you had some injuries you were dealing with, and then he kind of slid in, and there was a little more of an open pathway. This ball is hit on the ground, 1-2, foul. So I do like him. I do wonder, MSR Rook, if once he comes back to full health, if he doesn't potentially end up as your slot corner, because that's more a little bit to his size, and you could then keep the taller guys on the outside. Looks like Cal maybe broke his bat. So he'll go grab another one. That ball really rode right in on his hands. He must have heard it. He must have heard it crack, because he walked right over with that bat. Megan, we need to reestablish the guidelines for wearing the large jersey of power. Guideline 1, you can't bring it out for games that don't mean anything. So a game that's a preseason game that's a no right out the gate. Number 2, it's got to only be brought out in select times and moments. It can be brought out for a draft, because drafts are, as we saw with this last draft, it was so important. And Raleigh takes 1-2. Nice eye there. 2-2. Readjusts his Velcro gloves. Pulls his shirt down a little bit. Gets his batting helmet. Wipes off some sweat. Readjusts the armor on his elbow and steps into the plate. 2-2. Cal hitting 208 on the year. Be nice for a big dumper bomb here. Outside, close. Great eye by Cal Raleigh, drawing this count back to 3-2. Very nice job there by Cal. That pitch was close, but definitely a couple inches outside. 3-2. Come on, Cal. Show him that big dumper. Give him the number 2. Swing and a miss on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball at the knees. He got his money worth in that at bat, and on that swing, he swung, gave it a mighty big swing. Just couldn't do anything with it. Just swung through it. It's in the spot that's usually a zone for Cal that he can hit. It's usually a zone where he'll take that ball and park it. Megan says all games mean something to 12B. Oh, they do, but it's just that you have to use for maximum importance for, like, that's just my opinion on it. I'm not one to tell somebody when to wear the large jersey, but I think it's got to be wore in those select moments. Like, for instance, Megan, I will be wearing it in the Bronco game. It's the first game of the year, Russell Wilson returning, but then I might not wear it again the whole rest of the season, because there might not be a moment to call upon it if they're, for instance, not pushing for a playoff position or not in the playoffs. Adam Frazier steps up to the plate now with two men out. Top of the 8th inning. Strike right at the knees. And Boers for the Rangers has come in here on relief for Perez, and he has just been dealing. And Frazier pinch hitting for Dylan Moore. No surprise there. Moore hitting about $180 or whatever, and Frazier hitting up more around the 250 mark. Strike. High 97-mile-an-hour fastball. That was a ball. Very common at bats today. Mariners getting into quick 2-strike counts, then grinding and fighting and clawing and scratching their way to get back into a 2-2 or a 3-2 count, even fouling off a couple of real tough pitches, and then just kind of meekly hitting it then on a 3-2 pitch. It's been a bit strange. And Frazier fights that pitch off. It will remain 0-2. Sector 7, there's some annoying kids in the crowd. Megan says the Broncos game's a gimme. Nice. Am I wearing it to? I might wear it to Lumen, Megan. I might wear the large into Lumen. That's a good suggestion. I probably will. Strike 3. Frazier swung through a slider through the bottom part of the zone. Not a good bat there by Frazier. Looked just out of sorts all the way around. And that will take us to the bottom of the 8th. Mariners are still down 2 runs, 5-3. They will have the lineup turnover next inning with Julio at the top. So you're going to have your big dogs coming up. You do have to get through this bottom of the 8th and preserve this just merely 2-run deficit. But they will have one more chance at it. Libra Dragon says Moore got hit by a pitch too. Might have a sore calf. He could. That's where you hit that calf muscle, and it could. Like I was saying, it's a weird, underrated, sensitive spot. And when you hit it, you can definitely get it to kind of, it can lock up a bit back there. Libra Dragon says, being ambidextrous doesn't help my dyslexia. Ethan, good grief. All these down the middle whiffs. What the F? They've had some pitches to hit today at times, and they just haven't been able to get the bat on the ball. You're right. Just swinging right through pitches. Y2K Castillo will step up versus Ohtani tomorrow. Well, I'll tell you, they call him a stopper in the starting rotation. And this is why they call guys aces also in the rotation. You might have a couple of bad starts. You might be struggling through a little bit. You might really need a win on a given day. You might need a win on a given day against a really amazing, tough pitcher across from him, like we've seen Castillo do against a guy like Garrett Cole here. And now you get Castillo here up against Ohtani. Maybe he can carry and hold the day like he has here so far. Certainly with the way this game's going, this series becomes and looms even more important at that point. Megan says, I'm either wearing the Largent or my Charles Cross draft jersey to Lumen, or maybe my Zorn custom jersey, not sure. All solid choices. Custom Zorn jerseys, awesome. I bet there won't be a lot of those in the crowd, Megan, so you might be the only one on that one. Boers was dealing. Yeah, let's go Diego. Let's go Diego tomorrow. Seahawks 12th man says, bring in Seawald. It's probably a Seawald moment, right? Nope, they got Castillo in there. It's Diego time. It is Diego time. Rob Terrell, is it me or does everyone look tired today for the M's? I hadn't thought to look for it, but it makes some sense. It could make some sense here. It's that time of year in baseball too, where you can't quite see, you're not really anywhere close yet to looking down the home finish. It's been a long year. You're post All-Star break. It's the hottest part of the year. I know that, it's one of those points I feel like your mind can maybe have a bit of a tendency to get a little bit laissez-faire in certain given games. It really does take a mentality to lock it in on these kind of contests. That's sometimes a little easier said than done. Omega says, if you wear Largent, I'll wear the Zorn. Seems fitting B. Sounds good. Bet. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm game. You don't have to talk me on a Largent jersey on that. If I go in the stadium, yeah, Largent jersey makes sense. I almost have to do that beyond just the Largent of the power jersey. I just have to do that on principle almost alone with that. Ezekiel Duran steps up here, takes ball 1, and then second pitch swinging, knocks this out into right field. Haggerty is underneath it, and he will make the play. Out number 1. Big Country probably won't bring in Seawald here. Yeah, they... Understandable, they go Castillo. Megan says you won't talk me out of wearing my favorite lefty quarterback's name and number. I wouldn't try. Zorn jersey goes hard, Megan. That goes hard in the paint. 6-12 man. Now we're just praying for Julio. Strike one here to Brad Miller on a weak little swing. Yeah, too bad Julio can't get 2 runs in one at bat. Swing and miss. Boy, 2 straight swings there that were just bad swings by Brad Miller's on pitches nowhere near the zone. He needs to put some batting gloves on. Megan, then you can't have Steve without Jim or vice versa. That's right. Milk and cookies right there, Megan. Oh, my goodness. Diego just did Brad Miller so dirty. 3 straight sliders that swung across the plate far inside at his knees. 3 straight swings, each swing seemingly getting progressively worse than the next until finally the 3rd swing where he just barely even flicks the bat, almost like he's going down to a knee to give it up on that one. Just, I cannot stand up against you, Mr. Castillo. 2 runners out. 2 men out. Nice job by Diego here. First pitch, strike to Bubba Thompson. Joe Biden's Make-A-Wish. What do you think of the Fernando Tatis Jr. suspension since they just brought in Juan Soto? And quickly, Diego's getting an 0-2 count here as that's batted foul. Come on, good job, Diego. Just right through this inning. Let's just get through this, go to the next. See what our guys can do in the 9th. Love how he's working here. I'm thinking about my answer, Joe Biden, so give me a second on that. First off, I would say this. If I'm making a big swing like the DeSoto trade, and we heard everything from, we would have had to have given double the package we gave up for Diego Castillo to get Soto. The wine, the delivery, low. He's got this count back to 2-2 now, which I wouldn't have wanted to do. And if the Padres are going to give up that type of package, if the general manager is going to give up that type of package, then he needs to be 100% certain that he's got his ducks in order. And I'm not saying that he needed to know that Fernando Tatis was having the suspension come down, and that's a low, 3-2 now. Because indeed, I'm going to guess that he didn't know the suspension was happening prior to making the trade, that this came down in post. The problem comes into play is that there's been issues with Tatis prior to this point. There's been questions about his maturity. I believe there was a bike incident where he got injured on the bike, and the reporter asked him about it, and he's like, which time? Like, this has happened multiple times over. And indeed, Diego Castillo gets a great call by the ump on that pitch that looked inside by a couple of inches, but gets the call strike 3 anyway. That will retire the side. Turn us back to the top of the 9th, where your Mariners will get their final opportunity here to try to make some headway in this game, down 2. And it's been a bit of a rough struggle for this lineup. 2 of these runs coming on the back of errors by the Rangers. Couldn't get anywhere on the starting pitcher. Couldn't get through to Boers. But this Mariner team has shown a sense of resiliency. So let's not count them out yet. Let's see what these guys can do. And certainly you feel a little bit better with the lineup turning over. So Joe Biden's, you heard the general manager of the Padres speak to the fact after the suspension that Tatis needs to work on his maturity. And I think that he is frustrated when he looks at the situation and going, I just make this big swing, and this big swing is as much for this year right now. I know I get another year of club control with Soto if I want to beyond this year, but this was really a move now made for this. And here now, not only are you going to be out the rest of this season, but you're going to be out for a good chunk of the start of next year as well. And it was on the back of this lineup that I built mainly that I'm hoping to elevate this team up, to push them up into the ranks of the other really good teams in the NL. So, it doesn't reflect well on the general manager that you had a little bit of a live wire in that locker room, and that was where the foundation of what you were trying to build was going to take its form. So I think it does reflect a little bit poorly to that on the general manager. And with Tatis, this has been a common element a little bit with him, frankly. So, that's a part that he's going to need to mature and grow through and get better at. In the long term, they'll be fine. Next year, they certainly are still going to be able to make some noise. But, you make that move, you want to make it to maximize the time period you do have Soto, because there's no guarantee you're going to be able to sign Soto to a contract extension. And if you end up losing him in free agency and you've lost, let's call it 35% of the play time you were going to have with him on the field for you, that definitely, that's going to sting a little bit. MSR Rook says, Brandon, remember when Pete drafted Trey, he immediately said that was an outside corner only. Now that could change, but I think just like DJ Reed, they like Trey on the outside more, but we'll see. I understand why you would say it too. I mean, part of what he does really well is stacking receivers, and you don't do much stacking of receivers from the slot. When you're going to stack, it's to the outside, and he has a very good ability about staying in front of the receiver and not letting him get a pathway on those 9 routes. And this is important, of course, because Coach Carroll is going to want to see you beat the 9 routes above all else. We saw Kobe Bryant last night get beat on a 9 route, and that's going to be something that gets stuck definitely in the craw of Coach Carroll, and something that if Kobe doesn't have cleaned up in his game, despite whatever else he's bringing to the field, would definitely elevate a guy like Trey Brown over him. All right, DeClerc steps in now for the Rangers to try to close this up. Julio steps up to the plate, top of the 9th inning. Julio first pitch swinging, hits it down the line. It's going to be fair. Third baseman is up with it. A great throw over to first base to get Julio for out number 1. Julio definitely in this game has been free swinging and really, really trying to attack. Great play by the Rangers third baseman there. He really kind of made that look easier than it was with the speed of Julio. It's not necessarily a tough play, but just the ball's not coming down, hit hard. It's kind of just bouncing slowly down that line, and he just manages to come up with it and make something happen. So I understand why Carroll would want to lean into that. That's possible. I also think Carroll's got that part of leaning into wanting to have his guys be. He likes 6-foot corners on the outside for the built-in reasons that those bring. And I think if he's got the opportunity to have those guys on the outside that can do that, he'll lean into that if they're talented enough to run it. And so I do think there's a little bit of an adjustment you make here with Trey Brown coming back. But I could be wrong. And again, the skill set, the way that he stacks those receivers, that's kind of like this ball's hit up into the air, and this is going to be playable for out number 2 in foul territory. Nathaniel Lowe makes the play, and the Mariners are down to their last out. Goodness. So it is possible it does remain that way. I'm making a guess on this MSR. I'm totally pulling this out of my own behind and making the guess. And I look at it just like you want to get your 3 best corners on the football field. You have Carroll's a natural guy that drifts towards 6-foot corners. Part of the reason Trey was on the outside last 3 years, you didn't have as good as 6-foot corners pushing him behind him. We'll see if it naturally goes that way. And certainly Justin Coleman getting smoked last night doesn't solidify him in that slot role at all. So you have maybe an opening there. Mitch Haniger steps up to the plate and takes a first pitch slider on the inside part of the plate for strike number 1. I know. Game's almost over, and then you'll get some pets. Rally time is right. Nitro Hawks. Didn't get to watch the preseason game yesterday. Did anything interesting happen? I did. Quite a few interesting things. Give me a sec here. We're right near on the last out. Hey. We're on the last out of the inning here, so we'll finish this one up, and then I'll give you a couple liner notes on that. Strike 2. Boy, a bad swing there by Mitch. Just got fooled. Thought he was getting a fastball, and he hit him with the slider. 1-2. We're down to the last strike here. Down 5-3, top of the 9th inning, 2 men out. The clerk comes set. 1-2 delivery. Looks like they're going to attack out of the zone high. It's high, but it goes inside. Ball 2. 2-2. Haniger 1 for 3 in this game, extending his hit streak to 12 games. Clerk comes set. 2-2. Mitchie had a pitch he could do something with there. They set up outside with that fastball and ended up back in over the plate. He just missed it. I think that's a little bit of the story of this game for your Mariner lineup, is why you only have 3 runs in this game. You've had hitches to hit. Yes, the Ranger pitchers have pitched you tough, but they showed a stat in this game, and I'll cover this more in a second here, but let's see where this goes. 2-2 pitch here to Mitch. Strike 3 on another just weak swing. Catches him in between on a ball, strike 3. So they showed a stat in this game with Logan Gilbert of the times the Rangers got their hits in this game, and everything was in the middle of the plate and usually a little bit with some elevation in really that hot zone for hitters to hit. And the Mariners on the other side of it, when they had those same equivalent pitches on their side of it down through the middle of the plate right there for them to hit. I mean, Dylan Moore literally had one every single at bat I counted that he had in this game. He had a pitch down the middle to hit. And they missed, didn't hit it, looked at it, whatever may have been the case for those Mariner hitters today. But that's really a key to me, is that when you do get that pitch to hit in the line, you've got to hit it. And this Mariner lineup is so aggressive early on sometimes in counts and swinging out of the zone and trying to go for pitches and trying to just jump on things, that it really does start to magnify that in a game when you do get maybe only 9-10 pitches truly in that money spot of the zone that you can maybe do something with. Leaving runners on base does continue to be a bit of an issue for them in this game. You had 19 runners left on base. That's quite a few. The Rangers on the other side only had about 13, or only had 12 runners left on base. So you had guys on base, you had opportunities, you drew 6 walks. You know, you had the chances to put those guys in place to go do something with it, and your guys just didn't come up, as has been an Achilles injury for this team throughout the course of this year. If they miss the playoffs, or when they do lose in the playoffs, I don't believe this Mariner team is going to be looking at the situation saying, well, our starting pitching failed us. Well, our bullpen failed us. I think what they're going to be doing is they're going to be looking back and saying, yeah, that whole lack of ability to hit clutch with runners on base, the approach that we bring to the plate at times is what eventually got us into the most trouble. So disappointing to see from that angle of it in this particular game with this team, because again, you are kind of setting the stage so well. It's hard to get 6 walks in a game, especially against a pitcher like Perez, who is not necessarily wild in nature like that. You know, you had some moments where you really could have challenged, and you couldn't quite get it pressed down. They can't quite close the deal. It's as I referenced yesterday on a given play, it's a $1 million move with a 10-cent finish. The $1 million move is getting all these guys on base. 19 runners on base. I should come out of that game with 5-6 runs. But indeed, you've seen this as a real common element with this Mariner team, and a part which would be great to see if they can kind of fix and clean up a little bit more. I think it's been helped with Mitch Haniger getting back in the lineup. But as we do, continue to see, too many just dead zones in the lineup where you're not getting anything out of the lineup. And tough day for the middle of the order outside of Haniger. Suarez did get a couple walks, but it was 0 for 2, was 2 strikeouts. Santana, again, I don't know why they continue to put that guy in the middle of the lineup. He's now under 200. He's always good for a couple strikeouts a game. A guy that I would not mind seeing get less at bats, and this is where it also does hurt not having a guy like Kyle Lewis hitting. Because, boy, now you're having to go to a Santana, which you just don't like, versus having a guy like Lewis with when he's hitting normally and he's going and he's rolling, then that helps this lineup so much better. They really need to be able to push that DH part of this order. DH should be the part that be able to, you can close your eyes and find somebody to hit 250 for you. I don't need you to field and be out in the field at all. Just get me a bat. Give me a bat. But he is really scuffling, has Santana. He's got some, much like Toro, he gives you the clutch home runs, the clutch hits. But outside of that, he gives you a lot of piss poor at bats around the edges of that too. To answer your questions, I'm sorry, Nitro Hawk, it would take a while to answer on the deal. Yes, there was the good things that happened yesterday on the Mariner game. I'd break it down like this. Your quarterbacks overall played good, not great necessarily. Gino was very close at points to playing great. He had a couple of drops from his receivers. He had a play where Fan doesn't toe drag down the line, which definitely hurt him statistically from where he could have been, which would have been like a 13 to 15 day for 140 yards and a half, which would have looked really good, and those weren't his fault. Running backs all looked good and all of them looked progressively better as the game went along. DJ Dallas was running strong. He was running smart. He was picking his holes. Both of the tackles held up well on the outside. Defensively speaking, the Kobe Bryant was up and down, gave up a touchdown to George Pickens early on. Also was good in coverage at other times. Everyone had a hard time for whatever reason. Not for whatever reason. His first preseason game of the year, so everyone had a hard time tackling. That was for sure. Boye Mafe had 2 sacks. He looked really good, fast, athletic, quick, good size to him. Josh Jones flashed from the backup safety position really well as well. Middle linebackers looked like hot garbage. And that was about it. Receivers were okay. You didn't have DK or Tyler. Bo Melton and Derek Young both had early drops and then came back from those early drops to really come on as the game went along. Tough series, man. Tough series. You guys, they'd really been rolling along. They'd really been stacking up the one series. You had this one with Logan Gilbert going in the rubber match. And unfortunately, Logan just kind of still was scuffling through, still struggling to kind of find his location and find where he wanted to go with the ball. And that's hard. It's not easy in that respect of things when you don't feel it. I thought Logan did enough to get through with his performance today. I know that Perez gave them a tough outing, 7 strikeouts on his side of things. He didn't make it easy on them. The bullpen for the Rangers didn't make it easy on the Mariners, but they said they had the opportunities. I said 19 runners left on base. You had your chances. You had the opportunities. You had those pitchers in tough spots. You just couldn't quite come through. And again, it has been on a season of so many great things and things to feel positive about. This is the one thing that still does remain a concern because not only has it been an issue this year, this was an issue going back to last year. You are great in close games. You are great in one-run ball games. But part of the reason you're in a lot of these run-run ball games is because you haven't gotten the extra tack on a few extra runs at the end of things. And it really does, when you're that low to things, when you're that small in the margins, it does remove so much of your room for error at that point. And it's tough. They make it a little bit tough on themselves in that respect. A pretty good game though today. Not a bad game overall. Just couldn't quite close this thing off. Someone mentioned Mariners might have been looking a little bit tired. Hey, you got it's their time. It's 11:30 in the morning when they're starting a game. It's definitely a little bit early. We've seen this not recently with the Seahawks teams, but historically speaking with Seahawks teams and West Coast teams in football going out to the East Coast, is that when you've got to play at that 10, 11 a.m. time frame, your mind's not awake, your body's not awake, you're not maximally playing at peak athletic performance. Let's just say that. Eden Tech rolled all these swing and misses down the middle throughout the game. Yeah, that was tough. Ethan, 19 runners left on base. And we had one the other night, not last Friday, but the Friday before that, we had 25 runners left on base. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, the bats just completely go cold. And I don't know if I would tend to think that somebody said that the clutch thing was a real thing. We were having a debate about that early in the chat. Is clutch a real thing? And really, it is a real thing. And who I was talking about on the clutch being an ability you have, like some people, raise up in that moment and everything grows really quiet and they sort of rise to the occasion. There is the other part of that can happen as a general human nature where you get a little tighter, you try to press, you're aware everybody. I mean, by this point, they're all very aware of the fact that they struggle with hitting with runners in scoring position. It's not a new thing for them. So you have them probably pressing a little bit too much within that. But then that's where I do come back to when these guys have what I see as a common theme with runners coming up to the plate with runners on scoring position is the approach will suck. And I don't know if they've gone completely out of their head or they're overthinking it. I have no idea what it is, but you can see them then get just way too free swinging at pitches that are out of the zone that they can't do anything with, but maybe foul back at a best case scenario, get themselves then behind on the count, then have to crawl their way back in the account, but then they're still basically trying to 2-strike swing at that point to try to get to the bat, and it's just they're not in as good a spot. So that's the place, again, as I come back, and I know I harp on it quite a bit, but it does remain the spot that, to me, the Mariners can control that and control that instantly. They showed today with the 6 walks that they do have an ability to be patient at the plate. And those, I believe they've been one of the better teams in the league this year at drawing walks. So it's something that they have, but it's so odd that they can draw walks on one end, but then be so free swinging on the other side of it. And again, to me, it comes down to they're so aggressive and attacking early in the counts with these big swings and everything coming from the back of their heels. Would love to also see a little bit more of just, let's get some solid contact on the ball. It's the thing that's jumped out to Mitch Haniger as he's come back. It's why you have guys in Haggerty and Ty France that are hitting up around that 300 mark because their swings are level and they're going to put the barrel on the bat on the ball. And when that happens with a level swing, you're going to get some line drive strokes out there. There's going to be less swing and misses. It's when you get the uppercut swing through the zone that the bat going through the zone has a very small amount of period where it can make contact with the baseball and go do something good. If it hits the ball right, you can drive a ball in the upper deck. But if you're hit a little off here, a little off there, you're fouling the thing straight back, or you're turning it over if you're a right-handed batter to the left-hand side, or turning it over from the left-handed bat over to the first base side. So approach. Approach and controlling the zone is something that if you want to look for how they can maybe step up on this, they're not just simply cold when it comes to hitting with runners in scoring position. It's approach with runners in scoring position. And that's the part that could be probably fixed a little bit. Chad Burrows, how's it going, man? We can't hit. I know it is a little pathetic at times. Herbicide Woolen can't tackle. He did struggle to tackle last night. I do caution a little bit Herbicide. Let's give him a little bit of time on that. This is part of the developmental factor in Woolen's game where a lot of people have been jumping up at the forefront to say he needs to start, where I've cautioned a little bit that, okay, 2 years removed from being a wide receiver at the collegiate level, one of the things that you're going to expect a cornerback, the two things I'd mainly expect a receiver cornerback convert to struggle with would be footwork and tackling. Because receivers are known for being a little bit more finesse. They don't have that dog in them like some of the cornerbacks do. So that's something that's not surprising to me that Woolen doesn't have that. And I think Sherman didn't have that as much in his bag, Herbicide, I know you've heard me say. It's something that had to develop in Sherman's game as well. And I think it will potentially develop in Woolen's game. It does take commitment to it and getting better at it. But look, he's got a big build at least, That's what helped Sherman, I think, get better at it too, is that he had always the big build to fall back on. I got these long arms that can wrap around you with the big build, and if I just grab on and hold on at times, I can pull you down. But that was a struggle for him. Chad Burrow says we need a new hitting coach. Laughing out loud. Well, approaches I harp on it should be on the hitting coach to mention in these guys here and be in that saying, okay, guys, let's look at what we're doing here. This is happening. That's happening. That's happening. This is why this is going wrong. I don't know if he's doing that. I'm guessing he probably is to some degree. Guys have to then buy into that approach at the plate. Again, to me, it's just weird that what usually you have with free swingers, though, and we've had this with recent Mariner teams, you'll have the free swingers, and then they strike out a lot, and they don't have a lot of control in the zone, and it is what it is. It's kind of weird that you'll have the free swingers, but then you also have so much of a lineup able to generate the walks and have times where there is that patience. That's the part that gives me hope into believing that it's a controllable, fixable kind of situation to some degree, because they do show you the flashes of being able to utilize that. Andrew Haney says, oh, well, can't win all the series. On to the next. Great attitude, Andrew. I love it. That's right. On to the next, man. Long season yet to go here. We are not close to being done. We're stacking up so many series wins. You're not going to get them all. You still took one in this series. You didn't get swept. We got our ace going tomorrow night. Albeit again, Shohei Ohtani. I'll give you that. But we will be live here on the channel. So I will be going live tomorrow, and I like watching Castillo throw the rock. So we will be live back over here. Ethan says, Castillo on the mound. Let's not give Ohtani any free stuff tomorrow. No. And it's going to be a tough game. Both on, the Angels lineup's not going to be deadly necessarily, but Ohtani can deal. And when he's on, he is hard to hit. Danny W says, how are we losing to the Rangers? The Rangers are not a good team this year, but the Rangers are kind of similar to where the Mariners have been in the past, where they can surprise you. They're not bad. They got 51 wins on the year, 51-63. So they're not good, but they're not completely a putrid team either, I would say. But you would have liked to have taken the series. Let's keep in mind, though, too, with it, Chad. Where the hitters are at. Overall, we take this team from within the first week of July. You've lost, since the first week in July, you've lost 3 series. 2 to the Astros and 1 now to the Texas Rangers. That is a great run for the team, no two ways about it. And so we got to put that into a little bit of perspective here where, okay, you've had a couple series lost post All-Star break, two Astros and 1 here in Rangers, but around that, you've also done some really good things on top of what you did prior to the All-Star break. And this team is still in the pole position to be able to go there and get into the playoffs as well. On tomorrow. And we'll get it tomorrow, Chad. They'll get it back tomorrow. I'm making my prediction. Write it down. Megan says, okay, 8 a.m. I need to go and start the day. Talk to you soon. Have a good night, Megan. Good to see you in the chat as always. Watch Video says, thanks for the stream. We'll get it next time. Hey, we'll get it next time, folks. Just a bump in the road. The bump in the road to a magical season. A season which, if it's not going to watch your Mariners reach the height of heights, it does tell you that they are on that yellow brick road to eventually get out there and be a World Series contender. We've made some good moves. The team is coming along. Mitch Haniger's back in the lineup, and guess what? He's hitting. Not just in the lineup and hitting. Now we need to get a couple of the cold bats back up to steam, back up to speed, and we can get this thing back to rolling downhill again. Just a little bump in the road. That's all this is. Just a little pothole. Okay? that we're going to have tomorrow. I'm going to get the workers out from the city out here. We'll get 5 guys on the scene, 1 guy to hold the sign, 1 guy to pour the concrete, 1 guy to smoke a cigarette. But when it's all said and done, the pothole is going to be closed up. Castillo's going to shut down that Angel lineup. We're going to hit a couple of home runs on Shohei Ohtani, and we're going to be on a road back to winning this series, back to getting to the playoffs, back to the road to the World Series. Ride with me, folks. Ride with me. As they say out in Denver, let's ride. My name is Brandon Kane. This is The Crow's Nest. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button, please, on your way out the door. It does help the channel, helps the channel grow, helps me show up to other Mariner fans. I do appreciate it. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to watching. And don't forget, even on losses like this, never, ever, ever, ever now forget. Go M's.